shot, and now it's just him taking a shot.
It's just me.
It's because
we don't have any other.
We're supposed to be degenerates. I keep doing like a.
Do we have more alcohol that I can
No, that's the problem. Is
the
that
degenerates
I can drink the
have
other.
a full-time job. Okay?
I have a full-time job too, and that's why I haven't gotten fucking more alcohol.
Wasted. Oh,
Like I haven't gotten like I used to have more alcohol like here, just like in the bar cart, just available, like to, all kinds of different alcohol. But like I just haven't been able to. I haven't stocked up.
You're like empty.
I know,
That's
right?
crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
I just come over after
Wait,
work.
what is
and I
that
haven't
other?
eaten, and I don't want to drink.
Is that Crown?
Yeah.
I don't even know if I've ever drank Crown, but I might just drink that.
This is Canadian whiskey. You can share this if you want.
You just share that, yeah. Come give me some of that.
Canadian whiskey.
Some Canadian whiskey, like Canadian
just
bacon.
Pour the rest of it. Like,
Fake
what
ass
the fuck is
bacon.
that?
Try it,
oh,
so-
I thought you were just like leaving that. I was like, why would you do that?
There's a peanut butter whiskey that I have somewhere, and
Ew.
I'm not
that's
looking
gross.
forward to. I'm not looking forward to
That
drinking
sounds
that. But I don't know
disgusting.
who gave it to me. I think it was like a party pack or some shit like that. Like some, like you know how they have like the little. No. No, they have like a little like flight pack. Did you like it?
I didn't try it yet. I was going to cheers you
Oh, cheers
to Sunday.
Cheers to Sunday. We brunched today.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
I know. We were really wanted you to be there.
I really wanted to be there. You
I
think
know.
I wanted to be at work? No.
That's not bad. That's not a bad whiskey. Good job, Canada.
Brie made pancakes.
I know. I saw it on Marisa's story. I
Yeah.
was like, that looks delicious.
And then I had this
It
cute
looks
little
so
I
fun.
had this little container, this little glass container that I used to make like water in, and I did make water. I used to put water in and made it like.
I was ready to accept it.
Let me check myself real quick.
You make
I
water real
cannot
quick.
make water.
Jesus.
But I used to put like water and then put like flavored stuff, like lime in it or like different things to make it flavored water. And so we did mimosas in it,
Yeah, duh.
because
It
of
was
course
good.
it's gonna become an alcoholic
it
thing.
looked really fun.
It was.
I'm
I mean,
jealous.
it was real simple. It was really nice. Very like juxtaposed to like when we used to brunch before. Did we ever brunch together?
No, we've never
brunched together?
But y'all would tell me about when you would go.
Wow.
I don't go to brunch. Like, I don't remember the last time I went to brunch. I was
Why?
thinking about that
You
today.
don't like
Because
it?
I'm usually fucking working. Like, I don't know what it is about Sundays, but like, I
we
just
can
don't.
brunch on a Saturday. It doesn't have to be Sunday.
I mean,
That's
yeah,
harder
but
for me.
I also
Oh,
work on
yeah.
Saturdays. But I don't know why. Like, I just either like I'm working or like my friends were also busy. Like, brunch was just, and I'm jealous because people talk about brunch and it looks so fucking fun. Like the
We used to
girlies
brunch,
just
like-
have like their girl groups and they go to brunch every weekend and they just get like shit faced at like noon. I want that.
It's just a
I deserve
reason-
that.
It's a reason to have breakfast really late in the day, which is phenomenal because
Which
that
is
means you're
already
not
when I have
expected to wake up
breakfast.
until really late in the day. You're
Brunch
allowed
is
to drink
great.
alcohol as soon as you wake up, and there's always some form of entertainment.
Last
go out to
time
brunch
we
places
did
and there's
brunch, I think we were coming back from somewhere. I don't remember. Oh, from the river, maybe? It was like the next morning.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
it was
you went to
bad.
Austin?
It was
Really?
bad.
Because you were fucking wasted, like you were
Oh
hungover.
my God. Well, it wasn't like, the brunch was like, okay, it wasn't the best food. But also like that time me got so drunk at the river. It happened so quickly. Like, if we didn't stand a fucking chance. It happened so quickly, and like by the time that like we finished and like got off the floats, we were like, oh no.
Something about like the like
Fucks
motion.
you up, bro.
It really fucks you up, doesn't
Fucks
it?
you
But it's
up
such a great
because
feeling, though.
I was being so cocky.
But wait.
I was like, oh my God, I've had like however many, and like I'm feeling so fucking good, you guys. This is so fun. I stood up and I was like, oh, we made mistakes.
Where was that? Was that in
There
Austin?
were mistakes made today, and I don't know how to
And it was
reconcile from this.
And I couldn't. Like, we like climbed up. Like, you had to like climb up a little bit to get to the hill to walk to the buses to, go back to your car. And I was like, I can't. We're going to have to sit down. We're going to have to sit down, and we're going to have to sit down for a really long time. Also, another problem we had encountered, we got off the float. We walk up. We have no water. No water at all. We don't have a sip of water. We only have alcohol.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we are so drunk. Honestly, I want to say drunker than that time at the speakeasy.
Really?
Because it went on for so long. Like that, it hit me so quick. I didn't even know it happened. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I was drunk, then I was throwing up, then I was at home.
And then we were evacuated. Yeah. This time you had to like be aware.
I had to write it out.
Yeah.
And I had to pull it together. It was so fucking hard. We sat at that picnic table for like a good like 40 minutes. I'm not exaggerating. And at that point, it was like, we've been sitting here for so long that I just have to get to the bus. But it wasn't like, okay, you guys, I'm good. It was just like, I'm not getting better and we just have to keep going. And it was tough. It was really fucking tough. I passed out in the car. Then we went to get Mexican food and that was really good. And then I think the next morning we were back in Houston. We were like, let's go to brunch. And I was like, I can't. I did it. I shouldn't have, but I did it.
So, but how did you guys? Because is that the first time that you've been tubing, like at the river?
It wasn't the first time I've been tubing. It was the first time that I was drunk.
It's the first time you okay.
Like before I had drank, but it was like
Bree had her first experience at the river last year as somebody that's now from Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being in Chicago, like we don't have just like random tubing. Like we can go tubing and all, but it's definitely further out.
Nobody laughed at my joke.
What'd you say?
Yeah, the
I
river
didn't hear you.
is right there.
I said what? The river is right there. Okay.
There's no tubing in the river, the Chicago River. So
is it called the Chicago River?
Is that what it's called?
I think in Chicago. I mean, we call it the Chicago River.
Right, that makes sense.
But I think it feeds into the Mississippi River. If I'm not wrong,
Is that the end of it?
I might
'Cause it
be
flows upwards, doesn't it?
completely fucking wrong.
I'm tripping. No,
I don't know. I don't know anything about that. But
I
yeah,
don't know.
brunch sounds so fucking good. The river is so fun. It's one of those that is a part of assimilation that I'm like, I can get behind this. It's
really
so
is.
fun.
It
it's
really
so fun.
is.
And I never really I'm from the Caribbean, you know what I mean? Like beach all day long. Like I used to live 20 minutes away from the beach. Like we would be there almost every weekend. Like that was my shit, and it still is. Like if I could live by the beach, I would. But the river is so fucking fun.
Okay, our experience was actually really interesting because we went and I love the water. I love the water. So any chance I get, I'm always I want to go swimming. I want to be in the water. So I was super excited to go tubing, and we got there. And when we got there, it was a little bit chilly out, and all of a sudden it started raining all dumb. So we're getting on the bus, and I'm like, oh my God, this entire thing is fucking ruined. Awful time. I was so upset that our whole thing was going to be ruined. It was going to be cold and chilly and raining. And we get on the bus. First off, hilarious bus ride, because at some point there's a giant accident ahead of us. And one of these fuckers, I don't remember if it was you or, maybe it was Jada.
Maybe.
But somebody went and because we had all of our alcohol with us,
right.
And they go and they crack open, we all had a drink open.
Yeah.
But one of them was they were talking about who knows what happened up ahead and went out, and they're pour one out for the homies, and they go hand out the window with a drink and pour it out, and I'm like, we are driving. You're gonna get the whole bus pulled over. What are you doing, you idiot?
I remember.
Why would you waste that drink?
Right? Pouring out in the middle of the road, not even
happening?
So anyways, all of that happened. We finally get to the river, and then literally maybe a minute into us actually going down the river, sun comes out, rain stops.
Yep.
Beautiful time the rest of the time, and I was so happy. It was actually a really good time. I loved having to stay together and trying to keep ourselves together at certain points.
That was the thing too. We were
and then
we were trying to tie each other
running
up.
into other people that are good, and just making friends with people, trading alcohol with them.
Yes.
Running into a random little swing that's connected to one of the trees.
100%.
As an aerialist, I'm bro, that's so unsafe. But as an adventurer.
Exactly.
So down
it's
with
the
it.
inner kid comes out. Remember when you were a kid and you used to be let me hang off the rope. Let me flip off the rope. Your inner kid comes out. There's a rite of passage. You know how there's these things about New York or LA where people are the totems, your totems, the things you have to do in LA before you become somebody that's from LA or New York or whatever. As a Texan, you gotta go tubing.
Did you ever?
Yeah.
You gotta go tubing. You're
Julia,
not
did
a
you
legit
ever
Texan unless you go
watch
tubing.
the TV show You, the Netflix show?
Yeah, it does.
Yes.
In that when they're in Los Angeles, they talk about Los Angeles totems and whatnot, and they're checking off each of them. That once you get to the end of that list, you're a true Los Angeles, person.
Native, yeah.
So then I started making a list on my notes for like Chicago totems.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah, and we were thinking of ones. Did we ever come up with Houston? There's like.
Well, we were trying to do Houston totems, but then a lot of the Houston totems end up being like Texan totems.
Yeah.
Well, no. What's the one? The Santa Claus.
Oh, Pancho Claus.
Pancho Claus.
But that might be a Houston
Swingers.
totem. That what?
Swingers?
Oh, swangers. I was
Swangers,
like swingers.
sorry.
Like,
Swangers.
I know.
I was like, that is not
my
a
bad.
Houston
Sorry,
totem.
I'm not. Obviously, I'm not
Like
from
that-
Texas.
That might be a nationwide thing. Actually, no, swangers. The cars. The rims on the cars. The spoke rims.
Yeah.
Pancho Claus is probably just on the east side because you don't know what Pancho Claus is,
No,
right?
what
So
is that?
Pancho Claus, where I grew up here in Second Ward,
Yeah.
and on the east side there was I think it's a nonprofit organization. I'm not sure, but essentially, on December 25th, whenever people are opening the presents, Pancho Claus is a man with his posse. And they're all riding lowriders. Every single one of them is on lowriders, and they're cruising through the streets
That's
of
amazing.
Second Ward, and they're just like bouncing. They're just like bouncing through the
hell?
streets, and they're handing out toys
That is so fun.
to all the like inner city East End
Cute.
kids that like. But and to be fair, like as a native Second Ward resident, like there were times where I didn't have Christmas presents.
Yeah.
So like Pancho Claus
That
was
was
a
your
big deal
Christmas.
because like I would wake up and moms would be like, Pancho Claus is coming. And Pancho Claus is outside.
is
And we
so
would go
cool.
outside and it would literally just be like a parade. Like a
Yeah.
parade, just like nonstop, like
sounds awesome.
like neon green lowrider trucks, all crooked and stuff. And then you would eventually see Pancho Claus in his suit. So there was just a whole bunch of Mexican guys in suits and fedoras and like ties, like handing
so
out
cool.
like toy guns and water guns and like race cars and like cheap
Yeah.
toys, like
Yeah,
like
but-
nothing like crazy. But like we would go outside. I'd be like, "Can I get one for me and my sister? Can I go over me?" And
That's
my
so
and then we would
cute.
just be outside, and we would get, and then we would like, it would be a thing. Everybody in the neighborhood would come outside, and all the kids would go out and like go onto the street and like ask for like a toy or whatever. I don't know how it works in terms of like the legality of it all, like the nonprofit side of it, or like if
I
it's
see.
legit or if it's just like a whatever,
Random
like
people doing it,
right.
yeah.
Like I don't know how that works, but Pancho Claus is like legit.
That's pretty cool.
And this past Christmas, her and I were gonna make dinner because we didn't have any legitimate Christmas plans, and we rode by here and we saw them the day before Christmas Day.
Prepping
Yeah.
up.
On Christmas Eve, we saw
Getting the
them all like
presents.
line up and like kind of like talk about like what I guess they were talking about what they were
Yeah.
gonna do the next morning or whatever. And she was all like, "Oh, it's real." I'm like, "Oh, it 100%
Yeah.
is real." Like he was like they used to be. I have like very fond memories of like the feeling of like,
Yeah.
oh, like Pancho Claus is outside. Like
That
we're gonna
sounds
fuck
awesome.
it up. Yeah. So I argued for a moment that Pancho Claus was a Houston totem, but then I don't think it is because
I don't think it's
I guess
It has
like
to be, like,
the
citywide.
be
Yeah.
someone sign maybe
The
is
be
like a
someone.
totem, you
Yeah,
know.
or like taking like prom pictures at the water fountain, like
in
that's
Herman
a Houston
Park
totem
or,
for
or something
sure.
like that,
Yeah.
or at the Galleria, like the
Yeah,
waterfall,
the
or
Galleria
whatever.
waterfall.
Here,
thing.
you want to hear the Chicago totems I came up with? I'm realizing now some of them are probably just like northerner totems, and I'll explain that. But
Yeah,
one of them, so like bucket boys.
Yankee totems.
I don't know.
No, shut the fuck up. We're not the Yankees.
Drop.
We are not the Yankees.
Yankee totems.
Don't start.
What are you, the Bears?
So, well, the Bears is our football team.
Oh,
But we
damn,
have-
I
we
was
have
saying
two-
That as a joke.
so-
I'm kind of mad
Damn,
that I
you
got it
got
right.
it right on the money. Red Sox
We have two.
The
The
fuck?
Red Sox.
or what is
You
it?
know
We
what?
have
White
two.
Sox.
Look,
The
we
White
have
Sox.
two
I watched
baseball
too much
teams.
New Girl, and Nick Miller is from it's
Chicago?
from Chicago, and he goes for the Bears so fucking hard.
That's a football team. We have two baseball teams, and
The
it's
Red
and
Sox
it
and
cuts
the
up.
White
No,
Sox?
White
not
Sox?
the Red Sox.
The White
the
Sox?
White Sox
So who
and
are
the
the Red
Cubs.
Sox?
The Red Sox are somewhere on the east, the
Oh.
northeast.
oh, the
Or
White,
I think are they
wait,
St.
the
Louis?
White
No,
Sox
that's the
and
Cardinals.
And the Cubs.
And the
the
Cubs.
Cubs.
So
That's
and
what I
we're
was
but
thinking
look,
of.
it was very split up because if you're a Cubs fan, you're most likely from the north part of Chicago, which is more like the rich white people.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then the White Sox are from the south side.
right.
Anyways, yeah. So
Gang.
it cuts up our city. But okay, so bucket boys
What is that?
Bucket boys, the guys that like they'll pull out a bucket, just a random ass bucket, flip it upside down, and like play the drums on them.
Yeah.
And they'll like do that for money. So when you're stopped at a red light, you'll see them all the time. Where they'll pull up and they'll like come out and like play songs, and then they'll flip the bucket over and walk around and try to like ask for tips and stuff. You know. So that's one of them. This is one that I'm like, I think this is just a northerner, like anybody that lives where it snows. Dibs. So dibs up in the north.
I don't know what that is.
Anytime it's snowing out, we'll like shovel out a space in front of like our house, our apartment, whatever. That's like, you know, for us to park. But then you put random ass objects in the street to call dibs on that spot. So like if I shoveled out a space for me, I'm gonna put some random ass like fold out chairs or something in that spot and be like, don't take my shit. I'm calling dibs on this. This is my place to park.
Oh, so that's like a practice.
Yeah.
It's like a practice for like people to understand that like you've done the work of shoveling the snow, so that belongs to you.
And if you disrespect that's
damn. You'll have to be a real fucking asshole to be like, damn, somebody else shovel this up. I'm gonna take this spot.
What's the Houston version of that? Is there a Houston version of like being that kind of an asshole? No,
Houstons would be the assholes to take the spot.
But like there's no shoveling here. There's no, you know, it's like you just find your space. You don't have to
Houston
make
equivalent
space.
Of that is that people would rather let you die than let you
merge. Yeah.
That's it.
Oh yeah.
Like, and it's merging specifically. Merging
but no,
or changing. Like, people here drive crazy, but something about merging lanes just whoops Houstonians in the
very
fucking
end,
ass.
at the very, like, right when you can't merge anymore, and they're like, let me just merge real quick.
Have to, like, there's no fucking like, we're both about to get into a fucking car accident, and there's so much fucking traffic, and we're on 610, and this can't fucking happen. It's gonna ruin everyone's day.
And the little old lady's like, I don't know what to tell you.
I know.
And you're like, what do you mean? Press the fucking brake.
I have a very such a specific view on like merging versus like changing lanes. So merging lanes. I'm so passionate about it.
Yeah,
so if it's merging, like you're supposed to use that lane to merge. So you're supposed to go all the way up in the lane to merge. It's actually proven that you cause more traffic if you don't use that full lane. But
like the merging lane.
Yes, a merging lane.
Yeah.
But let's say I very specifically coming off of 288.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Going to 45.
Oh, I don't.
Getting on to 45, there's like two different exits. So it splits 45 north, 45 south. 45 north is always so fucking backed up. But so 45 south is always like open to drive.
Yes.
But 45 south's exit starts to get backed up because people get into 45 south and drive all the way up to the front and then try to cut into 45 north. Yes. If I'm in the 45 north, I will purposely be in the right-hand lane of the 45 north exit in order to not allow people to get in, because I am so passionate about the fact that you're a fucking asshole. If I am going 45 south, I will purposely be in the left-hand lane where people are going to cut over just so I can fucking honk at them and tell them that they're assholes for trying to be there and cause traffic. It makes me so mad. I get so upset.
She's real passionate about that. And I'm such a lenient driver. Like, I don't care.
Oh, that's
But
crazy.
That's the thing.
No, because here's the thing. I will do that. You know where I do that? I thought you were going to... It's the same highway, but on the opposite way. So I'm coming like 45 south to where it splits like 288 and 59. And you know, you go to 59 and there's always some fucking asshole on 288 trying to get on 59 at the very last. And we are both dying here.
Yes.
I will not. Because you had miles to change fucking... I don't have to let you over. I'm on my fucking lane. This lane goes to 59. That lane goes to 288. And it's not my fucking problem if you don't make it home. I will not let you fucking go. And they look at me like, you're not going to let me merge? No. I'm not. Be mad, bitch.
And
mad.
But that's one thing that I realized when I came down here to Texas. Y'all have Southern hospitality, but y'all also have it when you drive. There will always be a person that will let that person in, which I hate. In Chicago, we fucking stand together. And we do not let people in.
That's why
we are all on each other's ass.
That's what I like about the North.
Always.
Like, I understand the Southern hospitality because I feel like in Latin culture, like we have this like thing with politeness and manners and stuff like that it's really, really big. So I get that. Merging, I feel like it's different because merging, I'm like, you guys, this is so fucking simple. One person goes, the other person gets to come in. The other, like everybody use your brains. It's not that fucking hard. Everybody, if you're already on the lane, you let one person over. I'm not letting more than one. Don't get too fucking excited. the next person is like my buddy behind. That's your job. You know what I mean? But Southern hospitality, like what I like about the North is, you know how they say like people in New York are kind but not nice. People in other places are nice but not kind.
Yeah.
I would rather you be kind, not nice. Yeah. Like, I like kindness. I don't really care for niceness. And that's how it is here in the South. And I'm like,
yeah.
I'm such a lenient driver. I am like very relaxed when I drive. I don't get worked up about anything when I'm
oh my
driving.
goodness! Oh, story time, because the one time we were driving in the car together. Oh my God, there was one time we were driving in the car on I-10, and he's always very lenient, and I'm like, I just try to be chill when he's driving because he's driving. I'm not gonna try to be a backseat driver, but there was one time we're driving on I-10, and this person cuts us off like to the point that they like just missed us, like hitting us, and he had to slam on his brakes in order to not hit that person while they cut us off. And he was so calm about it to the point that it made me mad that he was calm. So I legit in the passenger seat reached over and honked the horn for him. I have never done that before, and legit immediately I honked the horn, and I was like, I'm so sorry, I will never do that again, I promise. But I was so upset at this man, and I was like, he almost killed us.
Because I'm like, if this man walks out this car
and shoots me
and comes out and wants smoke, I have to get out of this car and fight this man.
Don't lie. Don't fucking sit here and lie right now, because you did not even do that. You were just like, okay, still calm as fuck. And I'm like, I want you to be mad.
In my mind,
be mad with me.
Like, look, if this person stops the car because you honked at this person and walks out the car like, yo, you trying to go? I'm gonna get
out the car. Yeah, and I'm gonna get out the car. And I'm gonna be like, what the fuck's the problem, bro?
You're not a confrontational person. You're only confrontational when you're behind the wheel. Every other time,
I will still get out the car.
I
will still get out the car, and I will.
I understand.
No, with how anxious you are, I do not believe that one bit.
No,
not one bit. Not one. I want you to keep that same energy every other time.
Okay, no. Listen. Here's my shit.
Your criteria. There are
I make a choice.
Where I am sure she would. All of the things that make her non-confrontational, there are certain situations where those don't apply, and she would be confrontational.
I make a choice in the moment. I look at things and I make that choice. As soon as I make that choice, though, I'm sticking with that fucking choice. I'm not about to back down.
Well, yeah.
So as soon as I make that choice to be confrontational with that person, if they step out the car, I'm stepping out the fucking car.
I'm driving and she reaches over,
I'm gonna step out the car.
Fight this person.
No, I'm gonna step out the car.
That was an invitation. Like that wasn't Bree being like, fucking get it together. That was Bree being like, get it together or I will help you, bitch. And I will help you.
And I'm the opposite. I will do that in regular situations, but when I'm driving, I'm always like,
really don't care.
No, I don't care. I'm like, maybe they have somewhere to go. Maybe maybe his wife is in labor right now and he has to really get there.
He always literally every time.
I will come up with the most craziest story
and they
to try to give them an out.
I'm sorry, if your wife is in labor, then you need to make it to the fucking hospital.
Right. And turn your fucking hazards on. Why aren't your hazards on?
You're gonna cut somebody off. You could have gotten into a car accident and you think you're gonna get to the fucking hospital quicker?
Well, nobody's thinking logically whenever there's fucking wife is in labor.
Put your hazards on. Look. Listen. Let me say.
You better be fucking thinking logically.
Listen.
Going through so much and you're gonna put her through more?
Shit, I'm late to work sometimes and I'm like, I'm gonna cut you off, bro. I don't give a fuck.
Let's go back.
Imagine if my wife was in labor, I'd be like, I gotta get there now.
Let's go back to talking about Houston. Houston specifically, and Houston's like driving the way y'all drive. It starts raining a little bit, everybody has their fucking hazards on.
I know.
So why the fuck if somebody is in labor.
I have to call you out too now. I'm lenient driver. I'm chilling the entire time.
If somebody's in labor, if there's something wrong with your car, if there's some fucking reason why you gotta be driving all fucking reckless and shit, throw your hazards on so I know. Cause I'm gonna see your hazards on and be like, shit, I don't know what the fuck is going on. If your brakes are done, I'm gonna be out your way. Because I'm not about to have you hit into me because your brakes are fucked up. Like, I'm going to get out of your way. Put your hazards on.
It's like you have the drivers that are still driving recklessly and they don't give a fuck. And they're like, rain is not real. you know,
snow's not real.
Yeah, it's like whatever.
Ice is not real.
And then there's the people that have their hazards on that are just shitting themselves. They're like, oh my God, I'm about to die. So I respect it. I don't really put my hazards on unless it's like I can't see shit. So we all, if I can't see the person in front of me, then the person behind me cannot fucking see me, and I'm putting my fucking hazards on. But overall, every time I see that, I'm like, I know that you're scared, and I see you, and I'm sending you love.
Yeah, I also think
you might die.
I also think that the driving is a personality trait because that's the most confrontational I've ever seen her. Ever. And I'm like, even when she's driving and she's in her mode, whether she's doing the right thing or the wrong thing, because sometimes she'd be hella hypocritical about it. But like whether she's doing the right thing or the wrong thing, like, sometimes I'm like looking there and I just keep my mouth shut and I'm like, you know what? On the off chance that somebody does get heated with her right now, I'd want to see it because I want to know how much this personality trait lives only inside the car or also lives outside the car, and I'm kind of curious about it. I mean, I'm gonna step in. I'm gonna step in if it gets out of hand, but I'm like, I kind of want to see. I want to see how far this goes. Whether it's just like, because the moment this happens and the car turns on, whole different person. I'm like, holy shit! Like what? Like, you know what I mean?
It's where I let all of my anger out.
Yeah, like a whole different person, and I feel like I'm the same person. To juxtapose that, I'll be in the club, and we've had this situation. I'll be in the club where people are fighting, and like people are like holding each other back, and I'm the guy that's like right in the ear of the person that's getting held back, and
his ass.
And I'm the guy that like, bro, you gonna let him talk to you like that? Like, bro, you're really gonna? And she's like, stop instigating, and I'm like, no, but like, did you see how he disrespected him? I'm not invested in this. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. But then he wants me to be level-headed when it comes to
who spilled the drink.
You're just an instigator. You just like the drama.
I'm such a big instigator when it comes to that shit. And she's all like, calm the fuck down. Like, you're not invested in this. I'm like, I don't know.
But then he can't understand when I'm almost hit by a car why I'm so
you're
upset
out of your
by
mind.
it.
You're out of your mind. I know, because I've been in the car with you and like we've gotten into like something like scary happened and I'm literally like, holy shit, and you're like, oh my God.
So anyway,
and then you keep going. I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Like, because then I'm like, okay, I guess I won't react. Like,
I'm gonna react regardless if he reacts or not.
I don't. You're to the point you're making. I'll be chill. I'll be chill the entire time. I get a flat tire and I'm like, okay, well,
now I know gotta figure it out. Tire. So I get a flat tire and I'm like, I'm about to look like the
okay, to be fair, the reason he's so calm about getting flat tires is because of the amount of exposure he has to getting flat tires.
But
he gets a flat tire at least once a month. Like,
yeah, because you drive crazy.
I don't.
But his car is fucked up.
I'm just a lenient driver.
He drives crazy.
I don't drive crazy.
No, he just hasn't taken care of his car, and it's falling apart on him, and he doesn't care to fix it. So
difference.
He's just like, I mean, it's fine. I'll get a new one soon.
Difference. Anyway, to the point that we were making before, I'm not sure that bad, like the way that you drive is a Chicago totem. Or however we were, so. Like, I'm not sure if that's what we were saying.
What I was saying, the reason I brought up, like, the Chicago
driving standard?
Is because, like, here in Houston, it's more common for, like, there's always going to be somebody to let you in at the front of the line when you're, like, going to exit. In Chicago, everybody is on the other person's ass. So we are, like, bumper to bumper, not letting you in because fuck you.
Good.
Like, it's that simple. There was a time that I was driving and, like, I wait in this long ass line to get onto this exit, right? We're all here waiting. I get up to the front and this bitch like flies up and tries to cut in front of me. And I stayed on the other person's bumper. I was like, I'm not letting you in. And then she ended up getting in behind me and like pushing in because she almost hit the guy behind me. She pushes in. And then the whole time she's laying on her horn, like flicking me off and stuff, takes a slushie out of her car and throws it at my car. At that point, my brother was in my car. He was about to get out of the car and fight. Like, he was about to throw hands. We're stuck in traffic.
What were you gonna do?
He did. The only reason we didn't fight this woman is because my niece was in my car.
I
was like, we're not
a good reason.
That lucky bitch.
No, keep that same energy,
no,
baby girl. That's not a good reason. I'm gonna
No.
tell you a story right
No.
now. My dad has
somebody
real
who
rich.
has like so much nuance in his life, like this is what you're gonna pick to be.
There's two of you. He could have stayed in the car. You could have fought this woman.
Nah.
It's not about
she would have been fine.
It's not about that. It's like you don't want to.
Because now and on top of that, no. The issue is
eventually whenever she's in the car and that man
no.
gets road
The
rage
issue
or whenever she's
The
with you
issue
and you
is,
get road
if I
rage?
fight this woman or any of us fight this woman, the police are gonna get called. If the police get called, my niece is in the backseat of my car, and all of a sudden somebody's going to jail. I'm not gonna have my niece involved in that because who knows what's gonna then happen with my niece.
You're insane. Like,
I'm
you're ridiculous.
gonna tell you a story. My dad has road rage similar to you guys.
Yeah.
And so like there was one time we were here on the east side and he was trying to make a turn and somebody cut him off and my dad got verbal and the other person got testy also, and it's just me and my dad. I'm in the passenger seat, and my dad's in the driver's seat, and my dad's like going off in Spanish. You know, the other guys, Latin too, so they're going off. They're trading words or whatever. I think it's two of them or whatever. And when I tell you, my dad stopped the car, got out of the car, and was all like, "Oh, it's go time."
How old were you?
And I was like 10.
Okay, my niece was like 3.
Okay, but still,
Okay.
I was like, I was like 10. But it's still a kid. I'm still a kid.
Yeah, but
you can
also
drive home.
Your dad is not
I can't drive home at 10. You tripping? No, but
your dad is not a good example for that. He would do that shit.
But here's what I did. Here's what I did. The moment he got out the car, my confrontational instigating ass reached in the back seat. Got a 2x4 because we were working on something. We got a 2x4, and I got out of the car, out of the truck at the time. Stepped on the hood, like was standing on the hood with the 2x4 in my hand, and my dad was at the window of the guy, like saying like, all right, if it's go time, it's go time. Let's go. Like, what's going on? Am I going to show my kid's about to be here by himself? He'll be all right. And like he was going, and that's what I'm saying. If you're gonna have that energy when you're pissed off and you can't control what other people are gonna do.
Well, that's
right?
what
you
that's
can't
the thing.
control it, but it's some bitch shit. If you're like like honking and shit.
But that's why I didn't do. That's why I didn't do because of the fact that she was in the car. Exactly, you're saying keep the energy. So I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna let her in. I'm not gonna let her cut me off and whatnot. But I also wasn't gonna sit here and flick her off or anything. I didn't instigate any of that because of the fact that my niece was in the car. Because same thing, yeah, keep that energy. I wasn't gonna keep that energy with her being in the car.
Why that's wrong? Like, you must. It's so hard for me to believe that you're like.
I'm not saying it was right. I'm just saying that happened.
Right. And that's the point. It's like you have to understand that is wrong. Therefore, it is not bad for her to choose not to pick a fight with somebody when her 3-year-old niece is in the backseat.
But she could have also just let her in. How much was it going to cost you? How much was it going to cost you? It was going to cost you 2 minutes out of your day?
It was going to cost me my fucking pride.
Exactly, because of your pride. That's what you're teaching. Your pride is more important. Just be nice. Just be nice. So somebody might be having a bad day. Let them in. It's going to cost you 2 minutes out of your day. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. It's not going to hurt you. You're not going to be that much more late.
It's not going to help me either.
Right. Just be altruistic.
No.
Just for a little bit.
No.
Just for a little bit.
No.
Wow. We're learning so much.
Again, what is niceness for? What is niceness for?
For niceness.
Look,
for the sake of niceness.
Listen, this is
then what did it cost her?
Yes,
this is how far I will go. Listen,
but that's the point I'm making. You don't know what somebody's going through.
This is how far I will go with being like aware of where I am and everything, and like trying to give people the benefit of the doubt when I'm getting on to 45 North, 45 South, coming on I-10. Right? Anybody in Houston may know, like, going I-10 West, I-10 East,
also
sorry.
Getting on
but here's
45
the thing.
South from I-10 East?
Woo!
Trying to get onto 40, trying to go 45 North when you've just gotten off of Taylor Street.
It says be someone right there.
No.
But
that's going 45 South, but going 45 North. But what I'm saying, if you're going I-10 East, if you get on from Taylor Street, Taylor Street is right there. If you have to cut all the way over to 45 North, that fucking sucks. Yeah. So I'm super aware of that. And I'm like, anybody coming from my right side, if I'm in 45 South, anybody coming from my right side, I'm letting you in. Because you might just be cutting all the way over. That, like, getting on the highway to get into 45 North sucks. So I'm aware of that. I let those people in. But if you're coming and you're flying up 45 North and then try to cut into the 45 South line, I'm not letting you in. Coming from my left side, no.
Because here's the thing. Here's my thing about, like, I make, sometimes I am like, oh, fuck, I needed to merge there. And, like, if people don't want to let me, I get it. I'm an asshole. I shouldn't have fucking done that. And sometimes it is just okay to take the L. It is fine. Yeah. You miss your exit, take the next one. Yeah. It's fine. Even if my mom is in labor with my baby brother, It's like, well, this is not gonna make me go faster. I might get into a fucking car accident, and then I'm really gonna be fucking late. So the most logical thing for me to do is just take the fucking L, do some problem solving.
Will you say that
and
though?
Just figure it.
Or in the moment would you be like, all you had to do was fucking let me in? What, like what was it gonna cost you?
No. Literally.
No, that's not true. Because yesterday she was driving hella fast, and she was like, "Why are people?"
Well,
I'm just saying.
But no. What happened? Wait. We gotta clear that
was following the rules.
No, we gotta clear that the fuck up.
Everybody last night was following the rules. Every single person was following the rules. And you were rushing and violating the law only because you wanted to get somewhere fast and you were pissed off at everybody for following the rules. So
what do you do in the left lane, Juliet?
Do not play. That's not a good reason.
You go fucking fast. You don't go 5 under the fucking speed limit.
But the point that I'm making is that you had a very special circumstance that you were expecting everybody to accommodate you for when they don't have to do that. You just said they don't have to do that.
If we're talking about
that the collective power could be like, oh fuck it, if you want to be an asshole,
we're
not gonna let you.
Talking about
in the car
our general driving etiquette here. If you are in the left lane, you see somebody else coming up behind you in the left lane, and you are going slower than them, unless they're being an asshole and like flying up on you or anything, which I was not doing.
You sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
but you were also in the middle lane, the second middle lane.
I was the only time I ever switched.
Because we needed to get somewhere. That's the point that I'm making.
I ever switched lanes is when somebody wouldn't move because again, general etiquette. If somebody comes up, no, they weren't.
They're going the speed limit. Every single person was going the speed limit.
I don't believe that every single person at any given
nobody was doing anything wrong except for the fact that we just needed to be somewhere and we were rushing. So she wanted people to move because we were rushing and we were like, we got to get somewhere.
Wait, because you guys are yelling and I didn't. Okay, so here's the situation. You guys were rushing. You are behind somebody on a left lane.
We were behind a lot of people. We were behind a lot of people. It wasn't just the left lane. We were behind a lot because we needed to get somewhere and we were like running hella late.
We were running hella late. We were 3 minutes behind. We got there 3 minutes after.
We were hella late. And it was like it didn't matter what the lane was. It was like we need to get somewhere and we're rushing because we need to get there fast, which I totally understand. Goes to my point. You don't know what people are going through. It could be the show, it could be whatever, and they need to get there somewhere fast. But everybody around,
but guess what?
Everybody around was like doing what they were supposed to do.
Even on the way, when I had other people, if I was in the left lane and I had other people come up behind me, driving behind me, and they were going faster than me, I move over to the right side. Unless there are people on your right side in the middle lane next to you that are going slower and you are passing them up. If you're going the same exact speed as them, why are you over in that lane?
I hear what you're like. I get the point that you're trying to make.
The point that I'm making is that there's no consistency.
Listen,
the point that I'm making
there is.
Hold on.
No, it's not because okay, go. You go first.
I get what you're saying. Like you're being like nobody was doing anything wrong. I will say this: I am not taking sides before you start yelling at me.
No. It's
so
fine.
Watch it. I'm not taking sides. But number one, there are when we were talking before about like merging or like changing lanes, this is like, I'm only thinking of like, you're about to miss your exit and you waited until the last possible, like where there's like stripe thing, not like changing lanes.
And some people are assholes and they're like, yo, there's a big ass line. I'm going to go to the front.
That's exactly like that is what we're talking about. Not changing lanes, because changing lanes is just changing lanes. Like you're just whatever.
Yeah.
What we're talking about is like, there is an exit that you need to make and you didn't want to wait, and so you try to cut in front of everybody. You pass over the stripe like island thing and then you try to get on it there. I'm like, no.
Yeah, you're an asshole. Yeah, 100%. And you could be an asshole. And the only thing I say to that is I don't know what that person's going through.
I don't need to know. You're still an asshole. I don't need to know. Sure. Like, there might be something that's like that you have justified. It's a good reason to choose to be an asshole, but you're choosing to be an asshole nonetheless. And you cannot expect people to be okay with that.
Exactly.
You cannot expect people to be okay with that.
Exactly.
With you being an asshole.
Exactly. So on the off chance that you are in a position where you are being an asshole, you have to your point, take the L.
Here's where I think the miscommunication is. Because I'm hearing you're behind somebody on a lane where everybody is supposed to be going fast, and that is also a rule of the road. Like left lanes you go fast, right lanes like you move over.
Left lane is a passing lane.
Yeah.
Left lane is a passing lane. It doesn't mean you get to stay on that lane forever going 90 miles an hour. It means you get to pass the person in front of you.
I'm gonna stop you right there, because if you're gonna act like this is some written rule, that is not true.
She's talking about etiquette. When the speed limit is 65,
rule.
everybody should be going 65.
What I'm saying is roads have there's road rules. Sure. And what I mean is left lanes are to go fast. Right lanes are to go, if you're on a highway, in the middle of Buckfoot, Texas, you know that the left lane, and there's 2 lanes. The left lane is to go passing. The right lane is to go, at whatever speed you want. But if you're on I-10, left lane starts to go fucking fast, right lane starts to go fucking slow. And if you're on a left lane going the speed limit, you are the asshole. And I think that's where the miscommunication is. She is the person that's on the fast lane going slow and in that sense, the asshole. And you're saying you're the asshole because you want them to go faster.
In that sense, sure. In that specific sense, sure. The moment that I'm talking about specifically to yesterday it wasn't just the left lane. We were late the entire time. So we were driving crazy the entire time.
Was there traffic?
But what I'm saying, there
was traffic.
But I'm not understanding.
To your point, no. There was not serious traffic. We were just late.
No. So
in that sense, we chose to be an asshole. We chose to be.
But we didn't.
Because we were late.
But that's But
because
what does that have
we
to do
were
with
speeding
anything?
through everybody, cutting through wherever we needed to cut through.
But that doesn't make
Yeah.
Here's what I'm trying to get to. It's that just means that you were going fast. That doesn't change the fact that if there was somebody on the fast lane that was going slow,
here's why.
It's not because it's you should move. It doesn't matter if I'm late or not. This is the speed that we go on these lanes. If you're not going at that speed, you need to fucking move. If not, you're the asshole. Regardless of if I'm going slow or not,
sure.
Regardless of if I'm late or not, you are the asshole. Move.
Sure.
My thing is, if you are going
is higher because you're already late, but they're still the asshole.
If you are going the same speed,
in that same moment, 2 minutes later, you might end up being the asshole because you're trying to cut through everybody. You understand what I'm saying?
No.
Yes.
I was switching between the left lane and the middle lane because of the fact that I was constantly getting stuck behind people that were going the same speed as the people in the middle lane. If you are going the same speed as the people in the middle lane, get in the middle lane.
Yeah.
Be in the middle lane. Instead of causing more, let the people in the left lane go faster then.
Yeah.
Get over to the middle lane and don't cause everybody to be stuck at that same speed.
Because then if you're not going fast enough on the left lane, then the middle lane becomes the passing lane, and that can't work.
Sure.
That cannot work.
That's the only reason why I had to move into the middle lane.
Is for passing. Yes, this is the passing lane. There's 100%. I agree. You have to go faster on the left lane to pass people.
Right.
It is not a constant
and people in the middle lane were passing us. So that's why I had to get into the middle lane and then get in front of those other people.
But what I'm saying is that to your point about sometimes having to take the L, if you're in a circumstance where you're already having to rush and you are going to potentially, one, be violating speed limits and be throwing everybody off because you're going to be cutting through everything and trying to get to where you need to go, right? If you're already in that situation, you got to take the L. To your point, you got to just take the L. You're late. There's nothing you can do about it at this point anymore.
Here's what I'm not getting.
At that point, once you're taking that, once you are consciously understanding that you have to take the L, your logic should then flip over. If you are going to stay bumper to bumper to somebody and you're not going to merge somebody else because somebody's being an asshole and you're not going to be nice to them about them potentially having some extenuating circumstance where they might have to cut through and you're going to have that logic, okay, then have that logic. But when you're running through a problem and you have to get through everything and everybody around you has that logic where they're like, we're not going to shift our entire mindset for you right now just because you have to get somewhere.
Yeah, but I'm not asking them to.
And you have to not complain.
I'm not asking them to.
I know, but you're complaining the entire time about it.
Hold on. You can complain. It's driving. It's fine. And here's why I think the problem with that logic is that if I'm saying no, I'm not gonna fucking let you in because you could have just waited. is that this was a problem that you're creating. There's no other fucking problem. I'm on my lane. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
If I am like switching lanes because people on the left lane are going too fucking slow and I'm having to go to the middle so I can fucking pass them and I'm having to do it multiple times, it's like, you guys, this is a problem that you're creating. If you just move to the fucking middle lane, I wouldn't have to fucking do this. You're making it harder. Like, that's why it's like, it's your fault. I'm not taking the L
but it's still extremely selfish because at that point what you're asking everybody around there to do is to accommodate you.
No, it's to follow the general.
Because the law still states that you have to go the speed limit. If you have to pass somebody,
okay, wait. I will say, can I say, look, there is a big difference.
If you're going on the left lane 80 miles an hour and the cops decide to stop you, you're not gonna be like, but that was the fast lane. They're gonna be like, you were still speeding.
Okay, but no, listen. There is a big difference in my head between our general, like, the things that we follow compared to, I'm not talking about what's legal and what's not legal.
Yeah.
You're talking about made up rules now then.
We're talking about
then it just proves my point how it's extremely selfish and self-centered.
No, but there are still
if you're talking about made up rules, then of course the made up rules will always benefit the person that's driving. It's
courtesies. It's the way that you drive, and it's the
because there again, like,
because I'll tell you, when I get behind the wheel, I'll let people in. I will be nice. Because I might have to take the L. If I'm running late, I'm like, yo, I'm taking this L. Like, I'm going to be late anyway. Somebody might be having a worse day than me. I'm like, okay, that's fine. It's not a big deal.
So if you let other people do that, why don't you do that? Why don't you run forward and cut? Okay, well then you're an asshole.
If I'm running late and I have to be an asshole, I'm like, yo, I'm going to have to be an asshole today. Sometimes I make that choice. I don't do it all the time. It's not my like preferred way of driving, but I might have to.
But it is what it is.
In the off chance.
You also do it in a in like the most chill way. Like, you're just like, I'm just gonna go ahead and cut in front of you. Because I don't think it's that big a deal for me to get physically worked up and affect my mood. I'm like, that's just silly. You're just driving. You're just trying to get from point A to point B. Yeah, but now you're just trying to regulate people's emotions, and you
no, I'm regulating mine. I'm saying mine specifically.
But if you're saying like, that's how I see it, and if like this is like the situation, then like you cannot get frustrated or you cannot do this.
No, you absolutely can, but I still can think it's silly. Like if somebody,
but that's
if
I accidentally cut somebody off, someone's like
and somebody comes up to me and so like, yo, you cut me off, and they'll be like, okay. Like, and if they get testy with me, I'm gonna be like, bro, like, okay,
sure,
you know. And if it gets escalated to a certain point, I might retaliate. I've done it before, but I'm still gonna laugh. I'm gonna be like, bro, you really getting mad about a fucking like?
That's fine. But again, that's why I'm also like, then I don't see the problem with the situation because it's not like nothing happened. You know what I mean?
No. Like, the only thing I'm arguing about is consistency in mentality. That's all.
But with that being said, no, you want to talk about consistency.
And specifically, it's specific, even more to the point, even to like to make it even more concise. It doesn't hurt to just be nice sometimes.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
No,
it just doesn't hurt to be nice. It doesn't hurt to be like, I understand that you're doing an asshole move right now, but like, how much is it really gonna affect me? Really?
But I feel like it's like a double-edged sword because usually when I'm in those situations, I'm like, well, you can wait 2 minutes. Like, you know what I mean?
Also,
like, you know what I mean?
Whether you stick to your guns or you don't stick to your guns, there's nothing wrong with either of those things.
Right.
The only thing I'm saying is, like, it won't affect you if you do, and it won't affect you if you don't. So
I'm
why so gung ho on either or?
Because I love teaching people lessons. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And that's like the most genuine answer I can give you. It's like, no, dude, just go to the next exit.
Well, and I'm glad that you were like, sometimes you got to take the L because I assume that sometimes you take the L.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, sometimes like, yo, well,
I'm not that fucking,
I learned my lesson.
Like,
you know what I mean?
I'm not that committed to it.
But like whenever, like in the,
you know what I mean?
In the scenario where like my dad or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Like I stuck up for my dad. I was all like, yo, we're going to get out of here and we're going to do some shit as a 10-year-old. I'm like, yo, we're going to like do something. All right, you know, let's do it. But then after the fact, after we got in the car, I'm like, that was unnecessary. Like, bro, like, what the fuck? You know, like, that was fucking wild. Like, there's no reason for that to happen. You're fucking, you're like ridiculous.
I didn't let them over. You know what I mean? Would be like, okay.
Or you weren't right either. Like, you know what I mean? Like you escalated it to that point also. Yeah. I mean, I'll ride for you. I'm just saying like if you were 100% right,
your
then
mind
like,
works in such mysterious ways.
I mean,
like,
I'd like to think it's logic based, but I'm not sure that that's always the case.
You're what?
I'd like to think that it's logic based, but I'm not sure that that's always the case. It might be more like pragmatism, but then it also be like cold pragmatism at some point.
No, you just make up the rules as you go. It's like insane. It's like crazy to hear you speak.
I make up the rules?
Like you just, like, I don't know how you do it.
It's like mental gymnastics.
You truly. And like by the end of it, I'm exhausted. I don't care. You can make your point.
But it's very effective sometimes.
Yeah.
It gets us places.
I'm exhausted right now. I'm like,
it gets us places.
You're an asshole, Bree. You're an asshole.
I'm the asshole.
No, that's not what I was saying.
You sure?
The only thing that I was saying is it's nice. It wouldn't hurt to be nice sometimes.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
But I want to say, okay, wait. I want to bring up the fact that it feels like the whole time you were trying to bring up like yesterday and us being late and me switching lanes to be me.
It wasn't just switching lanes. You have to choose your words very carefully. We were late and we were causing a lot of, like, we were violating many laws to try to get to.
What laws other than speeding? What laws other than speeding?
Well, to your fake rules, we were cutting people off. We were getting in people's ways.
The only people I ever cut off were, again, people that were going slower in the left lane that I had to get over to the right lane and then get into the left lane.
We were like regular. At one point, we were stuck because there was like a long train and she was like ready to like cuss everybody out.
Okay, I was upset about the train.
And I'm just like, there's nothing wrong with the train.
But I wasn't cussing the other drivers out because of the train. I was just like, why is nothing going? Because all the lights were red, even though we could have been going straight, and there was a train on our right side. I was like, why is nothing happening?
And in those kind of situations, I'm like, well, it's good. It'll work.
Okay, but wait. I want to say, because
but that's
you
what
say,
I mean. Like, I understand what you're saying when you're like, but I also like, if she's frustrated about the train, like, that's fine too.
Yeah,
like,
I let it rock. It wasn't like I was all like, yo, you gotta chill. It's not a big deal.
But now you are like, you're.
Well, because we're talking about driving specifically.
I know, but you're like.
So I have examples.
I get that you have an opinion about it. I'm not saying that it's bad for you to have an opinion about it, but you're still kind of being like, well, you shouldn't feel like that. It's basically what you're saying. Like, every time you argue against it, you're saying you shouldn't feel like that.
No, the only thing I'm saying.
You might not want to be saying that. Might not be what you mean.
That might be what you're interpreting from my words.
You're gonna gaslight me now, bitch.
But what I'm saying is, it doesn't hurt to be nice sometimes. That's the only. I've said it three times already.
We're not talking about that.
But that was I wasn't being mean to anybody.
Like when she's being like, oh, like this is what I was doing, or like I'm getting frustrated, and you're describing like, oh, there was a train and she's doing this, she's getting like pissed and like yelling and has road rage, which I am very familiar with.
Well, and that goes to my point of being a character trait, of like driving behind the wheel and being a character trait.
I don't know if it's, I don't know how I would define it. Because I feel like at the same time, like I have road rage, but I'm also like, I don't have a temper, like at all.
But yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying.
But I feel like
I understand exactly what you're saying.
I don't know.
It's like, or maybe not a character trait. Let me take that back. It's character altering.
It's like out of character.
Well, maybe not out of character, but like it's character altering to where like something about like the irks of driving and like the irks of other people driving around you and their quirks or their whatever like creates like an annoyance and like a you know what I'm saying, and like that is it's character
like
altering.
Like
it's like whenever people have like tics.
World.
It's like whenever people are like with like nails on a chalkboard and people are like, don't fucking do that, or like whatever, you know what I mean, like these little like
it
pet
creates
peeves.
Such a visceral
like people's driving habits create visceral reactions in other people. And that
I guess bad driving is a fucking pet peeve for me, or specific thing. I shouldn't say bad driving because he's gonna bring it back to like legal stuff. And it's not always a legal thing. It's like it's the unspoken or unwritten rules of the road that it's like this is not just your general like
like it's just like I feel like driving sounds like so simple. You know what I mean? Again, like there's rules. They laid it out for all of us. You know what I mean? And even the unspoken rules, like they're very simple.
Yeah.
Why would anybody be bad at it? Oh, like, how could you? It's so simple. You have two pedals, you have one wheel. That's it. That's all you have to fucking do.
And you got a little thing to tell me which way you're going, because if you don't turn on your fucking turn signal,
you got to tell people where you're going, like which way you're gonna turn.
That's gonna piss me off if you don't.
But that's like the fanciest thing that you have to do is use your turning signal.
Yeah.
You're already thinking that you have to go left. All you have to do is put the little light that says you're going left. That's it. Like, you already thought about it. You know what I mean? It takes one movement, either up or down. That's it. That's the only other thing you have to do while you're driving.
Is that why it's such a visceral reaction? Because it should be simple?
It's so simple. How could you be? They even tell you how fast you have to go. You don't even have to think about it. There are cars now where you can set the speed that you want to go at. If the speed limit is 65, you can literally just set your car at 65. And you still have the option to stop if you need to. You can use the little pedal that we talked about earlier. It's so fucking simple. Why are y'all so bad at it?
So is that like the root of it?
Yes.
Really?
And like, for me particularly, like, my biggest pet peeve is like a lack of common sense. It's like stupid people, stupid questions, like anything that is like,
Is that your
dumb,
pet peeve for sure?
That is my big, like, it. I was literally talking about it today.
Really?
I was like, in the most irrational way, I can't control it. Like, it drives me I literally cannot control it. It makes me so fucking angry. Irrationally, I know it. I know it's rational. I know it's like a level of anger that it's like, Jesus, like, whoa.
And to speak on that irrationality, yesterday specifically, going back to that, I will round that out. I was so glad I was not driving, because I would have made us even more late.
Oh,
I was all like, in my mind, I was like, I'm so glad she's driving, because she's gonna like boss hog the hell out of this shit. So like, go baby girl, go. I love you. Like, fucking do it. Like, go for it. If we get into some shit, I got you. Don't worry. But I know that if I was behind the wheel, my composure.
It's cool if we're 20 minutes late.
Yeah, like I would have been like,
hour
I'm
and
so
a half
sorry.
long show.
But like, I wouldn't have had it in me to be like, I gotta like fucking like go and like this.
But
you know
I feel
what I mean?
like
So like, even to that, I was all like, I'm so glad that she's driving right now.
Well, that's why
like,
I was legit looking at like the thing, the what is it called?
I was just like
directions.
holding her hand, and I'm just like,
I'm looking at the directions on my phone, and the whole time I'm like, okay, cool. I cut off a minute. All right, I cut off a minute. Like, we're gonna be a minute earlier to this thing, right? And then the fucking train has us stuck, and I see it go up another 3 minutes. I'm like, fuck.
I feel like, especially driving in Houston, like, I'm late all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like, we know this. That's like, that is my character trait, is that I am late.
Being
like,
late is my character
I'm
defining
late
trait.
often.
Look, I don't mind. I shouldn't say this. I shouldn't say this.
And sometimes on purpose. Like, so I'm running late. So sometimes I'm like, listen, I got places to be. You know what I mean? Like, I already had like 2 tardies at work, and like, I don't have my get out of tardy card anymore. So like, I'm sorry, you guys, but I'm going to have to be an asshole.
Yeah.
To the point, whenever you're running late and then you encounter those same issues, it is that much more infuriating, because again, you're like, I'm already running late, except I wouldn't have to be this fucking late if all of you fucking bitches just knew how to fucking drive.
Yeah.
I could have been 5 minutes late, which is not that bad in my opinion. And now you're telling me I'm gonna be 15, 20 minutes late because you bitches don't know how to fucking merge, because you bitches don't know how to go the speed limit. Get a fucking grip.
True.
I will raise hell on 59.
And that's such a weird, because I think we're alike in like all of us are alike in a lot of ways, but there's such a weird like differentiating line.
I know.
It's such a weird. It's so weird because I'm the opposite. Because I'm the opposite.
You don't like. Yeah. I feel so unsupported by you.
No. She's definitely on your side.
I know. I said it by you.
Oh, by me. I'm sorry.
Like, in any other time, like, usually.
I'm like rooting for you.
Even when I'm wrong, like, as a friend, you're really good at being like, no, I see it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even if you wouldn't agree, like, you back me up.
No, believe me, if I was in the car with you.
I'm so angry to find out that you don't feel the same way about road rage. And again, obviously I've been in the car with you plenty of times, so I see how you drive and how you react to situations. But now you're telling me you don't think that my anger is justified?
Right? That's almost more infuriating. Not only, look, he wants to sit here and say like, oh no, but like while I'm driving, I'm gonna just sit there, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. But I still see the look on his face when I switch lanes, and he's over here like, all like, yeah, exactly that exact face. Yep, that one.
I'm like this. I'm like,
and I'm like, don't make that fucking face at me.
I took a nap. I was like,
and I'm like, he's over here napping. I'm like, get the fuck out.
But like, if I was in the car with you, I'd be on your side. If I was in the car with you and you were 5 minutes late,
don't lie. Don't lie. True. No, all the time you sit here and then like I'll be like, this person's getting my, and he's like, what do you? No. You're honking at them for no reason. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah,
if you don't fucking support me right now. No, not yesterday.
If you were like late and you were like furious and you were, I'd be like,
yesterday you just kept your mouth shut.
Not say anything.
That's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he did.
You wouldn't say anything. That doesn't mean you're encouraging me.
I might, no, but like if shit popped off, I'd totally be like, no, what the fuck you talking about? Like, I fucking got you.
I wouldn't fight somebody on the road. I'm not fucking doing that.
I would. My 10-year-old 2x4 self would come out in a heartbeat. I'd be like, we're going for it, you know. But it's such a weird differentiating line because
I don't like it.
In the circumstance where I'm late and I'm about to be 5 minutes late or whatever, if somebody's making me 10 more minutes late than that, I think to myself, well, this is my fault. Like this is my I could have prevented this had I just like done blah 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 blah. There's no reason for
humility coming from. Who the fuck are you, bro?
I think it's being behind the wheel. I think it's being behind the wheel. If it creates a visceral response on one side, I think it probably creates a visceral response on the other. No,
I cannot believe you just said that. I cannot believe you were like, well, this is my fault.
How many times at the job before did I show up late and I walked in? I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah, like, all the time.
At that point, I'm like.
But also, I feel like you, like, at your job right now, you don't get yelled at for being late.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, and that's the thing. That was the other point I was going to bring up. That's the other point I was going to bring up because depending on where it is that I'm going, if I'm going into like I work at a clinic and when I work there in the mornings, like if I run 5-10 minutes late, it's not a big deal. Like I just have to be there at the general time for the most part. So it's like if I'm running late, I still go. I stop. I get my Starbucks. I make sure I get some food, some coffee because I got to be there early as hell. That's the earliest thing I have to do. So I'm just like driving. I'm super chill. No big deal. But if it's like when I work and I'm teaching classes at like Hunter, then I'm like, I have to be there. And most of the I'm super early for those classes. So that's still normally not a big deal. But like, let's say I was running late to get there. That class starts at a specific time. Mm-hmm. If I am late to that, I also have to set up for that class and everything. Then I'm going to be like, bro, get the fuck out of my way.
Like for anything else, like I agree. I'm very like, sometimes we'll like go, I don't like rushing. Like that's also the thing. Like a lot of the times, even when I am late, I'm like, whatever. I'll just make up a lie.
I'm learning so much about myself right now.
I know. I'm learning so much about you. I'm not sure.
I really am. I just pictured her scenario, and I'm like, what would I say in that situation? Like, would I come in? But like in my mind, I'm like, I can't come in and be like, well, these fucking assholes were driving crazy. I'd be like, fuck, like that's like misplaced anger at that point. I'm like, I'm responsible for this. And
that is so insane. And I know this makes me sound like, oh, I will never take responsibility. Again, it's in that particular situation where I will be like, it didn't have to happen. Therefore, it's not my fucking fault. And like any other time, like I don't like rushing. So yeah, a lot of the times, like unless I'm running like really fucking late, like we have at work, we have like a grace period of like 10 minutes. So as long as I'm within those 10 minutes, like it's fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm never like, I'm usually not like, oh my fucking God, I have to make it there. Like it's usually if I'm going to like a doctor's appointment and stuff like that, where they, you know, they're going to give you a fucking attitude if you're like 2 minutes late.
Right.
You're like, oh, hop off my dick. But any other time, I'm like, girl, like I'm not rushing. Whatever. Like Brenda loves to rush. She loves it. It gives her a fucking thrill.
Even when she's not late?
Even when it's...
I just like to speed. I like to speed. I won't be as like...
Let's say we're going out and we say like, okay, let's leave the house by like 10:30. She wants to leave the house by 10:30. I'm like, bitch, we're going to a club.
So
like,
she likes to be punctual.
Oh, yeah. And she's really good at it.
Okay.
She's like really good at it. It's like honestly kind of mind-boggling. I'm like, how the fuck you don't even try sometimes and she's still like 10 minutes early. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is this?
See, I just like to speed. So even if I'm not necessarily trying to go anywhere and be anywhere at a specific time, I just like to speed. But if I don't have to be anywhere at a specific time, then I'm like, okay, it's not that big of a deal if like, you know, I'm still just chilling. But like, I'm still driving fast. I'm still going over the speed limit because I can, because my car can.
It's also like, now I'm like, listen, I I'm not from Houston, but I had to fucking learn quick to drive as if I am from Houston.
Yeah.
So if I had to learn, you bitches can learn too. Why the fuck are you going 65? You know that's not what we do here.
Yep.
Why are you acting brand new? I see that Texas license plate.
Where you at?
Go higher.
Why you acting?
Oh, I
Go
hate when I
faster.
see a Florida license plate. I'm like, bro, why are you here? Get the fuck off the road. Because the
Florida
people from
drivers are
Florida, I swear
crazy.
they cannot drive.
They
It's
can't.
always Florida that's doing some
what
dumb
other pet
shit.
peeves do you have? Do you have like? Do you know your pet
I feel
peeves?
like those are like the main ones, like because I feel like I've thought of other ones and they always just trace back to that. Like if
To, like,
somebody asks
stupidity and, like, common sense?
like
Okay.
incompetent, like I can't do it. I can't. It's literally like my blood boils. I can't handle it. I can't tolerate. I don't even know how to react to it. It drives me fucking insane. I literally can't even speak. Like it's
comment that
discombobulating me right now just thinking about
common
it.
sense, the inability to have common sense.
Like because
Incompetencies.
I don't understand. Like I just don't understand that there's no part of me that can like make sense of it. And there's no part of me that can like justify it. Like I can't explain it away. You couldn't give me a good fucking reason why that would be the way that things unfold. So what the fuck?
Is there like even more specific ones? That's pretty abstract. Like
I feel like specific.
Is there like a very
the
specific
very
like?
immediate ones are like stupid questions. I can't.
There is such a thing as stupid questions.
There is. I don't know who told you different.
There is 100. Teachers told us many times. There's no such thing as stupid questions.
Oh,
There 100%.
I had teachers that were like, "There are stupid questions. I'm gonna answer
questions.
them anyway, but just know that they are dumb."
Yeah.
No, I can't.
Do you have any pet peeves specifically? I'm trying to think of mine.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of both of ours. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I do that specifically irks
I think
you.
that and rushing. I hate
I'm not-
being rushed. Being rushed will literally ruin my
That's a
entire
good pet
fucking
peeve.
day.
Some people are like, I
No,
understand
it
that.
will
I
literally
understand
ruin
that.
my
See,
entire
I'm
fucking
fine.
day.
I'm fine with being rushed,
I
but
can't.
honestly, I'm normally the one that's like rushing because I'm always late. So like I'm rushing myself.
I'm trying to think of the
Here's the
pet
thing.
peeves that I have.
I know my flaws. You know what I mean? Like, again, I know
Good.
that I'm late all the time. So if I need to be somewhere, like, give me a time. I'll be, by that. Like, if it's really strict, like, we have to leave by that time. Like, if I'm going to the fucking airport, I will be ready at that time.
Right.
But any other time, like I said, like, if we're going out, I am not rushing. If I leave 30 minutes later, then I leave 30 minutes later because I'm going to the fucking club. Like I'm going to a bar. There's no schedule.
Yeah.
What are we rushing for? What are we rushing for?
That makes sense.
What's the hurry about?
That makes sense.
Even if I'm going even to work, like I know we're talking about road rage and stuff like that, but I'm like, I'm not in a rush to get to work. What the fuck? Fuck, I look like. I'm not in a rush.
Yo, that's how I
I'm
felt.
dying
Look.
to get there. Nah, I'm chilling. As long as I don't get written up, I'm good.
When
Like,
I
am
worked at
not fucking
Starbucks,
rushing.
I hated it so much to the point that like I didn't care. I didn't care about being late. I didn't care about them being mad at me.
Yeah.
I would get to work late and still order myself a coffee before I clocked in.
That's a super. When you
That's
get
kind
to
of
that
boss,
point,
though. That's kind of boss.
I
That's kinda
hate
like-
it
to
so
that
much.
point-
That's real alpha of you to do that kind
when
of
you
shit.
get to the point where you hate your job so much that you truly do not give a single fuck, like you have no inhibition, that's so bad. Like that's when you're like, I need to quit.
yeah, that's
think-
exactly what I knew.
Yeah.
Abstractly, I think one of my biggest pet peeves is logical inconsistencies.
Yeah, I see that.
But like specifically, I can't think of any. Like nails on a chalkboard kind of thing, like chewing,
Yeah.
like you know how people are like really annoyed by like chewing out loud, like chewing with your mouth open
Yeah.
or stuff like that. Like I
Well,
don't really have
I
any of
feel
those
like
kinds of things.
that's just like, why are you doing that? You're an adult. Just chew with your mouth fucking closed. Like, what is number one? I don't even understand.
I've
why-
never actually encountered
It
anybody that
cannot-
chews with their mouth
I
open.
mean, no,
So-
we
feels
talk
like-
with our mouths full. I know that for
but like,
sure.
But like chewing though, like
yeah,
the,
not
like the
necessarily
smacking,
chewing,
the, like
yeah.
smacking of like.
But I have a friend that very specifically she doesn't even like when people are eating loud foods around here. So not necessarily with your mouth open, but like if
Oh,
you're
that's-
eating chips,
Like if you
you can have your
crunch
mouth
chips or
closed,
like
but yeah,
the
like the
apples or
crunchy, like
something.
just
You
hearing
can
people
control that.
eat, like bothers you.
That's
And
so
she won't
crazy.
like
So
she's
she sits
super
alone
nice
when she eats?
She's super
That's true. What does she do?
Like what does she
Does
do when
never
she's
go to
out? Like, she
dinner?
doesn't go out with people.
I mean, she won't. Well, she's very, very sweet,
Only
so she
drinks.
won't like say anything about it. But it
It's
does just
like
like
she doesn't like it.
yeah, it like gets
Yeah.
to
Still a
her,
pet
but she
peeve.
doesn't. Yeah, she
Still a pet
just
peeve.
she'll be quiet about it. So like we were on a road trip and we were driving, and one of our other friends was in the car eating chips and whatnot, and like I don't remember how it came up, but something came up about it. And then the other girl was like, oh my God, is this bothering you? Like, say something. Like, it's, if and she's like, no, it's okay. Like, I don't want to stop you. Like, please eat your chips. Like, you know.
That's sweet.
But like in her head, she's like,
Getting cut off. Some people get really pissed off about getting like cut off in like mid-sentence.
That goes back to the road rage though.
Yeah, well.
Really?
Oh, I thought you meant getting cut off in the car.
If you're like mid-sentence and somebody just starts talking and then like cuts you off, like some people get really irritated about that.
That used to bother me a lot.
And I will, like, the thing is that I won't let you. Like, one thing I will
you'll
not,
get louder?
like, I'll get
like
louder.
The volume thing?
And eventually I would just be like, are you going to stop interrupting me? Like, I won't let you.
Oh, you'll call it out?
I will.
Good
if
for
it's
you.
like that extreme, that number one, I will get loud. I will get louder than you, and this is going to be a competition, and I am deaf, so guess who's gonna fucking win? Because I can't hear myself. I will start screaming. I will win this fucking screaming match.
If you ever hear Juliet screaming from a distance, you just know somebody's been cutting her off.
Honestly, just know that I'm probably just having a conversation. And like,
a normal ass conversation.
I can't hear myself. That's the truth. But like, especially as a girl, that happens so fucking much with men. Yeah. Like, they love to interrupt. Ooh, I just thought of another pet peeve, and that is a pet peeve of mine, and it's specifically about men too. I will not let you interrupt me. And if you're a guy, I will call you out. I'll be like, are you going to let me speak? Or are you just going to keep talking over me? Because what are we doing here? But
I can see how that can be frustrating.
2 pet peeves. Something about the phrase, excuse me, means nothing to men. The amount of times...
Example.
Like, I would say, excuse me, so I can go through it, and they will not move.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just rudeness. Yeah.
Will not move. It's like they are cemented to the ground.
Like, I have to scream that shit in their face
I'll
to
just
get
push
that.
Through. I'll be like, cool, you're not gonna move, I'll move you, bitch. I will move you.
Yeah.
That is wild.
And it's... I don't know what it, like... I don't know if it's something that has to do with, like... You know, like misogyny, it has to, because everything does.
It's like this idea of you move around me, like I'm not.
But it's this, like, you're just not willing to accommodate to anything and anyone else. Just like the amount of times, and like sometimes I'll be petty about it too, and I would just like stare at them and just wait and be like, are you gonna move? Like, what should I do here? You let me know what my next move should be, since you don't want to fucking get out of the way. But it is, and like, I remember somebody said it once, and at first I was like, oh, but that sometimes
and you couldn't unsee it?
Well, I was like, sometimes that happens, you know what I mean? And I would do it with other people, like just random, you know, whatever. And it's usually like, 9 times out of 10, if I tell a guy, excuse me, if I'm in public and I say, excuse me, a man will not fucking move. Will not move. I have to say it at least 3 times, and maybe they will move.
That's crazy.
That is one of my biggest pet peeves, and now I just do it for fun.
I'm trying to think of the times.
Now I just do it so I can push them.
Now I'm trying to think of the times. It's probably just in a crowded place. Usually, if I see somebody like walking towards me and I'm in their way, I usually move before they even get to say anything. But that's wild. But that's a good one.
If we go back to the getting cut off, I feel like, I guess that's kind of a pet peeve of mine, but I feel like there's some part of it that's very like the misogyny side of it, of like, there are just times that I know I'm having a conversation with a man and he's cutting me off because he just does not care to hear a woman speak, period. And that is irritating just on that level. But then there's also a side of it of like me when I was younger, being a very shy person and whatnot. Like, I was not very outspoken. So all the time I remember just consistently fading out when I was speaking. Yeah. That was like a consistent thing for me.
And it bothered you?
When it happens, like currently now, it's not necessarily that it's like I'm in that situation of me being this like shy, quiet kind of person or anything. Memory? But yeah, it's that muscle memory, and then me feeling like retract back to that person that I was, and feeling a little bit of that.
So that I'm the opposite, because I was really, really shy as a kid, and like I would not speak unless spoken to. Like, I didn't start conversation. Like, and I would like do the same thing. Like, if somebody just like cut me off, I would be like, okay. But now I have turned into a monster.
Good for you.
I will not.
I like
it's like whatever younger me had to go through, bitch, 23-year-old me is not going through that shit.
Good.
Yeah, I don't think I've gotten to a point of actually being able to like stop and tell people like, are you going to stop cutting me off? Unless the only time I will do that is if it's a thing of like, I notice it's like a man trying to like just talk over me.
Okay.
Because then at that point I'm like, I don't really care if you're upset at me speaking out or anything because fuck you. Like, I don't care for your.
I usually just.
I'm trying to think. I did.
I don't know if I say, "Are you gonna stop cutting me off?" But I'm usually like, "No, please talk over me. I love it."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're sarcastic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
well,
okay.
yeah.
Good.
I
That's
feel
probably
like,
better. It
No,
probably,
I'll probably just cut it and I'll be like, "Can I finish my story?"
I'm like, I'm not laughing.
Yeah. I'll just tell them like, "Can I finish my story? Can I finish what I was saying?" Ooh, there was actually a great example of this. We have me and my sister. Now we have both become very like feminist, like strong, women at this point. And my uncle is very against a lot of the things. So anytime there's like a family meetup and whatnot, misogynist. So many times, this man will cut us off in the middle of our sentences, and we always argue politics and whatnot, and he cuts us off all the time. And there was one time specifically, I legit was like, "Are you gonna let me finish fucking speak?" Like, oh my God, we were in each other's faces. It was such a bad time. Oh, I mean, there are two different sides of my family, and me and my sister are not necessarily on the popular side. So
got it.
I used to have this.
It's surprising that we're invited.
No, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, "Oh, so y'all are the ones that are gonna be uninvited."
You guys are being shunned from the family. You guys are ostracized. That I used to have a pet peeve. I'm trying to think of like the pet peeves that I have, like generally speaking. I don't think I can come up with one. Like I don't typically get annoyed with anybody about anything.
I get annoyed so much.
And but when I used to go on dates, first dates, second dates, like the beginning of like the dating period, if they took off of my food. Like if they reached over and touched my plate,
who does that?
I mean, it's happened.
He got over that. He got over that.
No. If we're already like it's established and we're already comfortable, and we've established a level of like comfort and intimacy and like all that stuff, in general, like. I'll even offer. I'll even be like, "You want some of this?" Like, you know what I mean? Because like we're here now. You know what I mean? But like if I don't know you, like that, and this is like our first or second date or third date or fourth date, and we still haven't like really like committed to this, and we're having a decent. It's always the worst when it's good conversation, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Well, anyway," and I'm just like,
but that's what I mean. Like they're not asking; they just reach.
Yeah, that's true.
Here's the thing, like. I'll still ask Brenda. I'll be like, "Hey, can I have a bite?" Who just reaches?
It's
like
happened.
I understand eventually, like you'll if you know each other well enough, like you just share like food, whatever. You can have some of my plate. I'll have it, but I'll still ask.
Yeah, well, actually, even now,
and it really like it stops me in my tracks. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I don't know what we've been talking about. I just
forgot everything.
The last 10 minutes of us like going on banter.
Out the window.
Did not register. Now the only thing that I'm thinking is the audacity that you had to just reach over. If you want, like I'm taking you out. If you wanted that, order that on top of what you already ordered.
Yeah,
I would have gotten it. It's cool.
Yeah,
like go for it. Like you know what I mean. I'm not gonna judge you. But like that was mine. Like I wanted to eat that.
That is just so. Who does that?
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And,
I just
and,
don't
and I'm just
understand.
like who, you know what I mean? And they keep talking.
No,
they're just like, "Oh," and then they're just like, "But anyway, blah blah blah." And I'm just like, I don't hear anything you're saying right now.
You shouldn't.
Like, and granted, I have to like level myself off a little bit, and I'd just be like, just end, and end the night on a good note.
Do you bring it up?
No, because I feel like I'm being like, I feel like at that point I might be like too nitpicky. And I'm afraid because okay, and this might be like a completely different thing. Men are on a test whenever they're on dates. Like on a test to try to figure.
But here's
I feel like most people are though. They should be.
Here's a thought. Yeah, so is whoever you're taking out on a date.
But she gets to control whether there's a second or third date. I don't get to control that.
Not necessarily. I mean, the guy can also call it off.
I get what you're saying, but then here's the thing. The problem with that is that then you're already. What I hear is like, okay, so you just assume that they're like you already want a second or third date, regardless of how the first date goes.
I might not. So to that point, I might decide, well, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this again or whatever, right? But it's such a small, minuscule thing that I might ruin the potential for a second date if I bring that up. because I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't
but
know
do
if
you
I'm
want to
actually.
date somebody who does that? Because
Is that really like a big like? And
Well, that's
that's
that
what's
would be
going.
a fucking ick.
and
If
that
a guy reaches into my plate without asking,
And that-
I would
honestly,
probably make a
kinda
joke about it. I would bring it up. I would bring it up to make a joke about it, and I would be like, "Oh, so you're just gonna take my food without asking?" Like making a
literally,
joke.
I would be
And
like,
then
"No,
if they were
please
to do
help
it
yourself."
again after that without asking, then I'd be
Yes.
like, "Okay, now there's my," because I will joke about something first
Yes.
to try to bring awareness to it without
Exactly.
actually making somebody feel bad about it, but bring some awareness to know that that's just not okay. And then if you do it again, then I'm gonna be like, "What the
But
fuck,
if you do
bro?"
it in a joking manner, they might think that it was okay. Then you're just being like,
No, if some, I don't like
Because then you
again,
can
that's a
joke
lack
back to
of
me and you'd be like, "Can I
self-awareness.
have a fry?"
situations-
Like,
That's
in
a
those
lack of
situations-
self-awareness. Because if somebody makes a joke like that, I am thinking like, okay,
there's
why
some
did they
truth
make
behind
that
it.
joke?
There's some truth behind it.
Right.
Or like,
the
why did they
times
make that
that's
joke?
happened to me, I gotta be honest. The times that's happened to me, I've been so like bewildered by the moment.
Yes.
That I don't know how to like act of it, and
I feel
all
like
the
you're
stuff.
downplaying. Like that is insane. Like that is insane. If
And-
somebody reaches, especially first or second, even if you ask me, like if you're like, "Can I have a bite of your food?" I'm gonna be like, "Ugh, like I don't really want you to have a. That's weird. This is my food.
So I'm gonna go on the train of thought process here, right? The first thing that comes to mind is what the fuck just happened.
Yeah.
Like,
Valid.
what the fuck, right? And then the second thing that comes to mind is, should I bring this up?
Yeah.
And if I bring it up, does that ruin the? But like, maybe maybe we really do click. Maybe this isn't that big a deal. Like maybe, and like, am I gonna ruin the potential, the potential for a second or third date if I bring this up? Thirdly, or like eventually, I get to the point of like, well, like, am I being too dramatic about this? Like what you know? And then I get to the point where like I never even register like I should bring this up as a joke. It doesn't even get there. The thing that does get there though is I'm gonna reach into her plate.
Well, yeah, because you have to assume that they would be okay with it.
I want to see again. That goes back to the logical inconsistencies.
Yeah.
I want to see if you're okay with this like two-sided. Like if there's a double standard here. Because if I reach over and take a part of your steak and you get pissy, I'm gonna be like, well,
So what's the
looky here.
Yeah.
Look at what we just found. Right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You took a fry, I took a Brussels sprout. What's going on? Are we
Yeah.
going at it or no? Like, but I've never actually done it. I've never actually like gotten the
That's fair.
courage to be like,
Here's why I get
this
it.
is mine.
I get what you would like, what you can be like, like if you're really enjoying someone's company and then they do that and you're like, well, I really liked you up until now. Is that like too nitpicky? But if you look at it, like truly, if you like think about it, you're like, that is such a like lack of manners.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
But
and
it
that
also
feels very
depends.
common sense. And in my head, I'm like, when you're dating, like when you're going on like a first, second, third date, like you're trying to make like the best impression ever. Like best impression, you know what I mean? Like you are on your fucking A game. Like you are being the best version of yourself. And I know that that seems like such a small thing, but if the best version of yourself includes you stealing from my fucking plate, that feels like that can't work.
I wouldn't make it
Then
that
what is the
big.
worst
I
version
wouldn't
of
make it.
yourself?
I wouldn't make it that big of a thing in my head. Like I would bring it up, but it's also just a thing of how people are raised. Like some people are raised, and then you might be raised in this big old family where like people just like, you know, they just share food. They just do it. Like it's a natural thing for them, and it's not a big thing for them to think of. You know, so like I'm not gonna be like.
Contextually speaking, like. It might be the first, second, or third date. It might be like the beginning of the dating process, but you guys might have also been texting a fuck ton. So like the level of comfort might have already been like breached to some degree. But you guys might have talked about like you know, over messages, right? Like over you guys might have video called or been on the phone or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you might have broken a little bit more of the like of the like comfort level.
Okay.
But even still when it's
No.
happened,
But what I'm saying is,
No, but
I
I'm
know.
saying like that wouldn't make it okay. And here's the thing, I agree. I don't think like I would be like, okay, I'm never seeing you again just because you did that. But I feel like
I
it would
couldn't
be
just
fair
leave it alone.
To
I
bring,
didn't
no,
see them
I
again,
feel
to be
like
fair.
one, I feel like it's fair for it to be like a turn off or like an ick, you know? And two, like I feel like I agree. Like it might just be the way that like they were raised. You know what I mean? Like that was something like that did not happen in my family. You know what I mean? It was like, no, you have your fucking food. Mind your fucking business. That's your plate. And it's yours. So I would want to know too. Like I would be like, hey, interesting thing you just did. is this a common thing? I'm
Especially
just asking.
if
I
you
just want to know
are-
because it really took me, like, it caught me
guard?
off guard.
If you
I guess I
are
could've done that.
interested,
I
what
just
I
didn't
mean?
have
Like,
the stomach
it
for
doesn't
it.
have to be like, hey, why the fuck did you do that?
Yeah.
Like, it
To be
doesn't
fair,
have
to be fair, I didn't have the courage, and I think at the time I didn't have the confidence to be able to like put that kind of like assertion out.
Yeah.
And I think in my mind I was just like, man, if I say the wrong thing, I'm gonna like not be able to like even get a second or third date. So like I've got to like be on my A game. Just let it go. Just let it
but
go.
no,
It's not
there's
a
a
big
thing.
deal.
There's a thing also, like, if you're interested in this person, and you do like this person, and that is something that's like a pet peeve for you that you notice they do. If you don't bring it up, and then you do try to have multiple more dates with them, and they keep doing it, and it continues to be this thing, then all of a sudden 5 dates in, if they've done it all 5 dates, and you all of a sudden on the 5th date are like, what the fuck, and like freak out over it, they're gonna be like, what? This has been happening this whole time.
Right.
Because also,
You know?
I feel like that's like really early on. Like, I feel like that's a good way. Also, talking about it is a good way of seeing like how are they gonna react about it. You know what I mean?
That's
if
why
I tell them,
that's why my thought experiment was, let me just get something off their plate.
Not even that, but if I'm like, hey, why are you doing that? I don't like that. I feel like the reaction I would want is like, oh, my bad, I didn't realize. Like, it's just so normal for me. Like, I grew up like that, and like I just didn't even think about it.
I guess it could be endearing if somebody was all like,
If
I am
it was
so
that-
sorry,
if
my
it was-
family, we like, you know what I mean?
If it was a problem for them, and if they were like, why are you fucking overreacting? Like, it's not that big of a deal.
just
Then maybe y'all just aren't compatible.
That's what I mean. You know what I mean? It's like, I get that it's such a small thing, but a really small thing can like show you so much more.
You're probably right.
That I'm like, no, I would want to address it. I would want to know right then and there. Because if I bring it up and I'm like, hey, I don't like that, please don't take food from my plate, and then they make it a big deal and they're like, you're fucking overreacting, what, you're not gonna share? Like, I think that's so selfish. Okay, goodbye. Like, that's all I needed to know.
That's fair. That's, you know, you're probably absolutely right. I just didn't have the
Yeah, I feel like it's like I would have been so shocked.
I was caught off guard, and I think I was like in a state of confusion.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, you know what? By the time that I got back to reality, it was been like 10, 15 minutes. She had been talking. I didn't understand what she was saying. So I was like, I got to get back
Like, I missed that whole conversation.
because now I'm the typical guy that doesn't listen. So I got to get back to it. Like, you know what I mean? You know? So I gotta like get back on the ropes. You know what I mean? Like the bell just rang. So like I gotta get back on it.
There's been guys like that, like I've known for like not that long, and like if we're eating or whatever, and they'll ask me, they'll be like, "Are you gonna finish that?" I hate when people ask.
You see
me
what
that.
I'm saying?
Really?
I hate it. And even like, listen, I usually like I don't eat a lot in one sitting. Like I eat a lot throughout the day, so like usually I tend to like leave food on the plate. I'm sorry. Okay, I try my best.
No, you know that's
I
not to
tend to
apologize
leave
for.
food.
Yeah.
We
So,
overserve
like,
in this country
if
anyway.
I'm on like relationships and stuff like that, like I'll usually be like, I'm not gonna finish this off. Do you want the rest? Like I'm not, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to throw it away. But when people ask me, like I haven't offered it. Especially guys. I mean, I guess it doesn't really happen with girls. Like, you know what I mean? Because if they do, it's my friends, then I'm usually just offering. Yeah. But if I'm on a date or like seeing this guy and he is like, "Are you gonna finish that?"
It turns you off?
I don't like it. I can't explain why, but I don't.
It's fair. I don't know how to
describe.
describe it either, but it makes perfect sense.
Like, why are you watching what I'm eating?
Yeah.
Mind your fucking business.
Look at my face. Look at how pretty I
Oh,
look. Don't be looking at what I'm eating.
Talking about food. Here's my pet peeve on food.
Oh, go.
If I offer for you to taste what it is that I'm eating, like if we got different things, I was like, oh, do you want to try?
Yeah.
You know, and I give you some, and you don't fucking offer for me to try your food
That's
back.
rude.
I'm gonna be
That's rude
upset because the only reason I offered is because your shit looked good and I want to try your shit.
That's really funny. That's really funny. I wouldn't have offered.
What if they say no?
because-
What if they're like no, and you still
Oh,
like?
that's true. What
Like
if they were
what if
no,
you
I'm
offer
not-
and they're like, no, I don't want any.
I offered. So you have to
So
offer.
even if they say no, the
Hell
person has to offer too.
I was nice enough
That's
to
wild.
offer.
Crazy.
That's wild. The level of expectation over there.
That is kind of crazy.
Oh, I used to have a
But
friend.
wait, okay, good.
It's so funny.
I'm gonna like divert from the food
Okay.
thing. If you have more food things that you could say.
I mean, I was just going to talk about the way that I go about specifically like eating off of other people's plates, specifically yours, Juan. So,
I feel like that's
but
different.
I don't have a problem with you getting
I know,
food
but
from
what
me
I'm
because
saying,
of the nature of like how
I still
our
have like
friendship
an
and our relationship.
etiquette that I follow.
Yeah.
Because of the fact, like, I will wait a little bit into it and like let you enjoy your food first.
Yes.
So that I'm like not trying to eat the food like before you eat before you finish or
Yes.
anything.
That's
And
what I
then
mean,
like
is,
after a little while, I mean, before it used to be me like asking or something. Now it's just because of the nature of our relationship. Now it's just turned into me giving him like little doe eyes to be like.
Can I
And
have
he knows,
some?
and he knows what it means
Yeah,
at that
I
point.
won't even look at her. I'll just be like doing
He'll
something.
just see
and
me
I'll just be
looking at
like,
him, and he's like, "Here you go."
I feel like it's so ingrained in me. Like even you, like I feel like I am so comfortable with you. Like we've been friends for so fucking long. It's like it doesn't. You know what I mean? Like you're like my family. Like I wouldn't take off your plate. I would literally be like, "Hey, can I have some?" Like I would ask you if it looks good. I will ask you for sure. I'll be like, "Hey, can I have a bite?" But I would ask you, like, it doesn't make. I feel like
Yeah,
I just would never take from someone.
And
That's so rude.
And it's
That is
happened.
so
and
rude.
it's happened multiple times. It wasn't just like
That-
one time.
But here's what I was thinking.
My
I was
friend
just
used to
thinking
say it
about
was
that.
the audacity of pretty women. Like,
I was-
like
I
pretty
was-
women just think they can get away with anything.
Yes.
And they know they're not gonna get called out by like men that are not as like attractive as them. And then I would just look at my friend and be like, "You're telling me that I wasn't good enough for that girl?" And he'd be like, "Well, you know, but like, there might be some truth to that if we pull at that string a little bit.
No,
like, pretty women do
to
think they
that
can get away
point,
with a lot of shit."
When you were explaining it, I was like, hold on though, because I don't know, I don't do that, and my friends don't do this, but I've heard of like sometimes women like test to see how much
how much they can push.
How much they can push
much
on like
alpha
the
they can
first
be.
couple of not even that. I think it's more again to see like how the guy reacts. You know what I mean? Especially, I feel like
And that
sometimes
goes to my
it's
point.
also,
Men are always on tests on the first 5 dates.
here's the
They
thing:
just 100%
is that I
are.
don't disagree. I just think you're both on tests. That's the point of a date.
But it's weighted differently.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But that's y'all's fault. Like
Yeah. I'm not like saying it shouldn't be that way. But
I
it's
get
just the
what you're
reality.
saying,
Yeah.
And whenever you were like explaining that situation, I was like, what if like they were doing it? Because I've heard of things like and like common things like things that like the female population has kind of agreed of like, hey, here's a tip, like do this on a first date to see like. I'm like, what if they were trying to just like test and see how you react? You know what I mean? Because because on
That's
one
totally
hand,
possible.
it's not necessarily that they might have been expecting you to like be completely submissive and be like,
Right.
oh, I'm not gonna say anything.
But they could have been. But what kind of
also-
Jedi mind trick is that you wanted me to be
No,
like,
but-
hey, why did you do that to prove that like I'm assertive?
No, but
No,
not
not
even
that.
I'm
Oh, okay. I
thinking-
misinterpreted what you were saying.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no. In my head, I'm like, a lot of times, like women will do that too to see like if a guy has like a temper. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and like,
okay,
if I do
okay.
something minor again, because
Then
if you
imagine
were
the
to bring
major
it up,
things.
if you were like to bring it up, like you can still bring it up and just be like, hey, quick question. Like we were just talking, you know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm curious. I don't like it. But it can be a normal conversation. They can bring it up in a healthy way.
Right.
Sometimes we're testing things to be like, hey, are you gonna blow a fucking fuse? Like, am I gonna
But to
feel
be-
unsafe?
But
and
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you right now, though. I'm gonna tell you
right.
right now. If in that moment, not after the moment, if in that moment I found out you were testing me, I'd be turned off.
Yeah, I can.
You know what I mean? But like after the fact, if like months later you were like, "Yo, I actually did this because and like a lot of things have transpired by then," I'd be like, "Did I pass?" Like my energy would completely be different. You know what I mean? Sure. If we get it, you know what I mean?
Why would it be a turn off in that moment? If she was like, I just wanted
if
to.
she said it, if for some reason, like if she already had the audacity to pick off my plate, and then she was all like, and like afterwards she was like, I did that because I wanted to see if you get a temper, I'd be like, oh, I'm walking away.
I also don't know somebody that would purposely bring that up and like say that.
I know. I'm just saying.
I don't think they would necessarily say it like that.
If for some reason I figured it out, you know what I mean? Like if she got on the phone with her friend and she was by the bathroom, I walked by. I don't know, whatever. And it's in a weird situation.
Even if she was like, he did it really well. Like I just wanted to see if he would like.
I would still get turned off.
Wow.
Or if they came to you and they were like, yo, I want to be honest. Like I know I did this thing and maybe it was an annoying thing, but like
that might be a little.
I just kind of wanted to see because like. you know,
that
I've been around people that have been very like aggressive or something before. I wanted to see if
that
you
might be a little different. The approach might, if she did
the delivery.
If she did that, I might be a little bit more.
I will say, I think it's almost annoying doing it in this like playful way of like, oh, I would just wanted to see how you would react if you would be aggressive because I don't think that's something that's playful or funny.
On one end, you're being cautious, and then you're letting me know that like you're kind of ashamed of it. But on the other end, you're being cautious, and you're like, if you came up to me and you were like, hey, I just wanted to let you know, like, but you know, I just got to be honest with you. And so in my mind, when I register those words, I'm like, okay, she's telling me, and she might feel a little bit weird about it. Like, that's not her normal state, and she needs to like, in a way justify that behavior because that's not how she registers herself, right? But on the other hand, it's more like I wanted to see if you would react that way, and it feels like manipulation. So then I'd be like, I don't fuck with that. I'm gonna leave. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But that's just I don't think that those words would ever come out either way. Like if you were if somebody, the girl was testing me or anyone, like I don't think those words would ever really come out except for like the group message with all her friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that group thread is real, guys.
Yeah.
So.
Do you have any other like icks or turnoffs when you're dating?
When I'm
particular
dating?
about like dating?
Do you have icks? Do you know what an
ick is?
I do have icks and turnoffs when I'm dating, but I think that they're not like pet peeves like that. I think they're more like societal things. And like that might take a little bit more to unravel. But like they're more like,
well, those are not icks.
Yeah, they're not.
Do you
like,
have icks, Brie?
But they do ick me though.
I feel like having icks as a woman is so fun. Have you seen those threads on like TikTok or like Twitter of women like saying their icks?
Ooh, but I know what you're like.
Were we talking about this recently? Because an ick is something very like unconsequential. You know what I mean? Like we were talking about it at work the other day, and I was like, if he like bends down to like pick something up instead of just like kneeling down, like that's something stupid. You know what I mean?
Like bending at the waist, at the hips. If he's bending and snapping,
and it shouldn't be that big deal. But now you can't unsee it.
He like bends and he arches on the way up and everything.
No. I'm not talking about. No, I'm not like.
What if he has bad knees?
Explain it. Let me.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Like if they wear like an Apple Watch with like formal wear, it's like that's an ick.
Oh, I've done that sometimes.
Yeah, I bet you have. You monster.
I've done that sometimes. I used to have a friend that used to hate being stared at. And I think that goes to like your like weird like toxic masculinity, like weird or fragile masculinity more so than anything. I used to have a friend that used to hate it when strangers, especially men, not women obviously, but like when men used to like look at him for like a little bit longer than like a second. He would be like, "What are you looking at?" Like, I hate it when people look at me. I'm like, "Bro, like,
oh my God.
relax."
No, that happens.
What if they were looking past you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what if they or what if they just have bad eyesight and they don't like, you know what I mean?
Or what if they were looking at you because you're like, I really like that shirt. Is there a logo on there? Where's that shirt from?
You never know.
Here's the thing,
like, how does that man intimidate you? Like, what's going on? Why are you getting so like worked up over like somebody just like looking at you for longer than a second?
No, I get that because at this store specifically, like I've seen it happen so much. I mean, I guess maybe I'm just like hyper aware of it because I have so many human interactions that like the ones that stand out. But like there have been times where like if I'm just helping like a male like customer or whatever, and especially if they're like young sometimes, not like super young, but you know, like between like 20s, 30s and stuff that, they'll like they're making it a point to like make eye contact with me, where I'm like, what is this? What are you trying to accomplish here? It's not like eye contact because you and I are making eye contact right now, and I'm not. It's nothing. It's
not like
staring
you look at
someone
people, down.
I like to look at people in the face.
You're talking about like a gaze versus like a look.
They're making like a point to just like their facial expressions. Like you can tell that they are trying,
and that bothers you,
to hold eye contact. And I'm like, what are you like, what is this?
Does that work the same if it's a girl too? Like if a girl does that to you?
No, because girls don't do that.
But what if she did?
I mean, I guess, yeah. Like,
do you
it would
think
still
that
be,
it would bother
because
you?
Then I would
because
be like, what is this
friend,
intense, like, what are you trying to accomplish?
For my friend, he's a guy, and it was only with guys. When girls did that to him, he was all like, "Oh, I'm cute." I'm like,
right.
I was gonna say, do you think that them trying to make this eye contact with you is them trying to flirt, like them trying to?
Yeah, sometimes but it feels almost like I don't know if power mood is the way. I know that what they're trying to do is flirt,
but they're just bad at it.
But you're just also doing it, and like I feel like what I interpret from that, like what you're trying to portray when you're holding eye contact, is to be like, I am like a very confident person, like I feel very secure in this interaction. Yeah. But when you do it with like that intention and you're making it such a point, I'm like, you just think this interaction is gonna go so fucking well, and like that's not working with me, babe.
Also, guys in general out there, you get one chance to look at a girl for longer than 2 seconds if you don't know who she is. One chance. If you do it more than once, it's game over. You can't.
I will push back against that so hard.
You can't power move through that, because like, to your point.
But here's the problem with that.
To your point. To your point. If I'm looking at you, for example, and I don't know you, and I'm trying to make eye contact. Like I get past the second, and we're making eye contact. I'm gonna smile. I might like wave or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like you have like very specific time frame, a very short time frame to make a gesture that would imply like I'm looking at you and I like the way you look without having to say words, right? If you look for too long without making a gesture or without any, like you're fucking up that move, bro. And then you do it again, you're fucking up that move even more. Because now you're the guy that keeps staring at her. Yeah. Not the guy that just that looked at her and smiled once. You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say, you said that, and in my head I was like, I don't think if I clocked that you are like looking at me and like thinking of me as like, oh, she's beautiful or she's hot or whatever, turn off. If I clocked it, I'm like, ew, don't. Interesting. What are you doing?
I don't.
If you made a facial expression to let me know, I can't think of a facial expression that you can use to let me know that you think I'm hot. That wouldn't. No, but like,
I mean, like, it doesn't have to be like from across the room. What if like you're at the fucking grocery store and like you're fucking looking for avocados or some shit, and like there's somebody's like on the other side and just looks at you like, oh hi, like. That's still a moment.
Yeah, there's,
you know what I mean?
I guess, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
But like you can see it, and like you might be able to see in his face that he's looking down, and he looks at you, and you guys catch each other's eyes, and it's like, oh, like,
I think that's what I mean. Though. Like, it's like that feels like you naturally, when you see somebody attractive, you have a natural reaction to that. Right,
exactly.
When you said that in my head, like what I was hearing was like, you get a chance to like relay that message with an expression that to me feels intentional. When it's intentional, I'm like,
interesting.
Really?
Interesting.
I find it so like cute if y'all catch each other's gaze and like
I'm not
like
necessarily saying that. Like,
now, if somebody's over here and they're over here licking their lips, tongue hanging out of their mouth, biting their lip and shit, that's like, bro, you get the fuck out of here. That's gross.
I'm having a conversation with a guy and we're like looking at each other, we're making eye contact. I can tell when he is being like, oh, like she looks like really pretty right now, or like, wow, she's really hot, and like those thoughts are going through his head. Like I can see that without him making a facial expression.
Okay.
Without you see what I'm
like
saying?
X the facial expression,
so
just like the look of like being the look of like understanding that like this guy likes how I look. Yeah. This person likes how I look. It doesn't necessarily have to be like
that doesn't require that doesn't require like
and I'm not necessarily saying
move on him.
Yeah, and I'm not necessarily saying that like a guy has to be like looking, like figuring out like, you know, when am I gonna like being behind the fucking like register, being like, I gotta figure out when this girl's gonna look at me, like that. You're pushing it, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I it could be like happenstance, or like it could be like accidental, like you lock eyes for just a tiny second and then it's a natural movement, like like a natural gesture. But it could also be like, I saw you when I walked in, I'm like, man, that girl's really pretty, and you just so happen to be my like checking me out at the store, and I'm like, I might be like just naturally like gushing or like blushing a little bit or something, and you might be able to tell, and I'll be like, well, it's nice to meet you.
That's what
I'm
saying.
You know what I mean?
Like, I thought you were saying like, whenever you were saying like, you get one chance to like make it like, to kind of like let her know.
Right.
Whenever you said that, I was like, well, if it's intentional, that's where it's a problem. Because all of those things, like all the things that you're describing are usually like a natural reaction.
Got it.
And like, we can tell, and that's really cute. It's really nice. I like it.
I've been in situations where like I've seen a person before for a while, weeks, months, or whatever, and then like we haven't really like acknowledged each other, and then all of a sudden like there is a gesture that comes across or whatever, and like as a guy, or me, myself in my brain, I'm like, I got to make sure that I don't like, am not creepy, because I understand like over staring, like to the point that I'm making, like you get one shot. If your girl knows you're constantly looking at her, that's it, bro. Like that's not you. It doesn't matter what word you say afterwards. You lost that bag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to that point, to the point about the pet peeves, my friend would register when women were looking at him as like, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But when men were looking at him for longer than a second, was like, yo, that's a problem. This guy wants to fight me. This guy has a problem with me. What's your problem?
That's kind of crazy.
You know what I mean? And I would always be like, bro, like, why are you so bothered by it?
I will say in Chicago though, there's also just walking down the street, I feel like it's more common for people to just have that mentality because y'all don't look at each other. Like if I'm walking down the street, like I don't acknowledge the person walking next to me if we walk past each other. We don't look at each other. If I look, especially at men, because if I acknowledge men's presence, it's like opening a door to allow them to fucking verbally harass me.
I was gonna say maybe it's like a cultural thing because
maybe.
There's
down
some
here,
he was
places
really
that
bothered
are
by
like that.
it. Was like a legitimate pet peeve.
Down here in Texas,
I was gonna say like in New York, people talk about it all the time. They're like, don't like. There's certain places where it's like, hey, don't make eye contact with people because that is like y'all about to fight.
But down here,
If you make eye contact with somebody and you don't know them,
it's so crazy.
They're gonna register that as like there's a problem.
It's so crazy that I've never been involved in a situation like that because I will stare at people.
You'll be looking.
I'd be like, what's going on over there? And I'll just be like, I like just watching people's interaction.
You not only stare at people, but you also sit here and take pictures of people in the middle of the street. And shit. And
bro,
like, I'm surprised nobody has confronted you.
So anxious, like when because I never like noticed that you were doing that just like to random people. Like I don't know why, but it just never registered. And then eventually I was like, why are you? They're right there. Stop.
Yeah, okay, we gotta be real clear and clear it up for anybody that doesn't know that you're a street photographer.
I'm a photographer. I'm a professional
You're not just out here taking pictures on your iPhone of people.
I'm a street photographer enthusiast, so there's a long culture of street photography in the fine art world, and there's been a lot of great photographers and great photographs and stuff like that. So I am sometimes out and about, and if I see a nice composition, I might try to capture it. Yeah. Not trying to be creepy, but I am aware of the fact that like sometimes I may come off like that, especially if I'm photographing women.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And I brought up the fact that if I seen a man out by himself taking pictures and they took a picture of me, even if it is with like a nice camera or anything like that, I would be hella weirded out. But the second that I see either a woman taking the pictures, I would feel less uncomfortable, or even a man that has a woman with him. So I say, like, if I'm with him, it makes it look less weird.
Yeah, she's
if it's him by himself, that's
like
fucking weird.
Because at the end of the day, I could be like, "Come explain."
Yeah,
come explain.
They're not gonna hear me.
Yeah, and she's gonna like be. Luckily it's never happened. But to the point of earlier, like I've never been in a situation where people have gotten mad at me for like over staring or like you know what I mean. In New York, in other places, like I've never like necessarily like. And I like will watch people's interactions.
I feel like you also just have like a very relaxed, like resting face, like. You don't look like upset or like you usually look very like, you know, just like, oh, I'm just.
I feel like he has a very like quizzical. Is that the right? A very quizzical kind of look. Quizzitive.
I don't know what that means.
A very like thoughtful. Like you're in thought.
Yes.
You know, kind of look. Yeah.
Like pensive.
Exactly.
Like a pensive
there you
look?
go. That's a better word. Yeah. A very pensive look, so that it's not just like you like giving somebody like, you know, a raised eyebrow or something in the middle of the street, you know, trying to like look at this girl's whatever, you know, or trying to the one you will instigate. So you'll get the face, you'll get the instigating face when somebody says something in a conversation or whatever. It'll immediately like perk up his body.
Yeah.
And
I'll be like, bro, you gonna let that slide? Or what's gonna happen?
That's what's gonna get you fucked up.
But I leave. I'm like it'll start happening, and then I'll just be like, I'm gonna exit this, and I'm just gonna watch from a distance. Yeah, I'm so bad, but I got that from growing up in the hood. I used to instigate my friends to fight each other and shit.
Right.
But going back to the pet peeves in relationships, I once, or like in dating, I once encountered somebody that got really upset if I was on my phone the entire time of the date.
Well, yes. What?
No. Not like on my phone the entire date. I'm saying like even if I checked it like once, or like a little bit. Like they'd be like if I'd be like, hold on, I gotta like answer this real quick or whatever, blah blah blah, and then like it would like really irritate them. And I guess that's understandable, right? I mean, if somebody was on their phone the entire day, constantly,
I mean, like that's, it's fair. I guess it feels a little bit extreme though. Like, what if I don't know? What if my mom texted me? What if my friends are like, "Hey, are you still alive?" I don't know.
Right.
I guess there was one. I haven't gone on many like dates with just strangers or whatever, but there was one specific date that was just absolutely awful. And this person the entire time, I think I already talked about this recently with you, but about this man that very into his reptiles. He had multiple reptiles, and the entire time. And I'm like, okay, listen, look, I like some, lizards and stuff. Like, I'm like, that's cool, that's fine, whatever. But then the whole time, all he wanted to do was talk about his reptiles. Yep. And look, I don't like to bring up like the whole like circus arts or like, at the time I was like living in the van doing the whole van life thing and whatnot. Yeah. And I normally try to like keep that stuff, so that I'm not like just trying to throw it out there and like use it. So it's not like
your main personality.
Yeah. But man, it was like a 3-hour long lunch date that went on for too fucking long. And it didn't go on because we were having a great time. It went on because he would legit just be like, oh yeah, so I have this ball python and this and that. And I'm like,
that's
going
cool,
on and on and on.
Snakes.
But then legit.
That's why she went on the date.
I would legit be like, at a certain point, I'd be like, okay, like asking him questions about it, and then it wasn't reciprocated. So like at the time I had a ferret as well, and I'd be like, oh yeah, I have a ferret. They're kind of like, and he'd be like, oh, okay, that's cool. So my lizard got sick the other week, and then just keep going. And I'd be like, I'm a circus artist. He's like, oh really? That's interesting. So my iguana that I had, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to scream. And then afterwards, like the date finished, and he was like, we had talked about possibly me going to see his snake. That sounds awful, but
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not a euphemism.
And he was like, yeah. And afterwards he was like, so do you want to like come back to my place? And I was like, it was like 5 o'clock. And I was like, man, it's really, no, 5 p.m.
Oh.
And I was like, we had lunch.
It's getting really late.
And I was like, it's getting real late. I gotta go. I got work in the morning.
And he was like, okay. Stuck in like a date, and you just don't know how to get out.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And you know this story of mine of the date that like I got stuck on.
I feel like this has only happened to me once, and it wasn't even a date. But somehow you
got stuck in it?
Yeah. It wasn't. I thought Brenda loves this story because this is when we realized I was a lot more naive than I thought I was. I stand by my belief that there was no way in hell that this person could think that this hangout was anything but platonic. Like, I believe that so whole. I would put my left arm in fire. That there's no way in hell that this person could ever have like indication that we were anything but friends. I had also just met them, and we like met up. We had a class together. We met up to work on something because I didn't have the book, and he was like, "Oh, I can send it to you." And like the group chat was like a fucking mess, so we were the only ones like
interacting.
Anyways, it doesn't matter. So we met up for this, and we were just, it was like very normal, like hanging out. It wasn't even also like, oh, we're getting to know each other, and it started getting kind of dating, like it was whatever. We were just like pals, and I was like, yeah, and like, bro, dude, man, like the whole nine. You know what I mean?
Platonic signs, yeah.
Like we were homies. And he is like, we ended up talking about like, oh yeah, we should hang out, and like I'm not good at making friends, so like, and I didn't really talk to people like in class and stuff like that, and that ended up going pretty well. I was like, yeah, let's hang out. Like I'm talking about Love Island, like reality TV, like all that shit, and he's telling me about this like super cheap like sushi place. Like that does not scream romantic date, you know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, it's in Bel Air, it's like super cool, and then there's this like gaming what are they called?
Like
I don't
arcade?
remember no, it's not an arcade. It's like it's like a gaming
bar?
Oh my God. It's just they have a bunch of computers, you know what I mean? I can't think of the name right now.
Okay.
But just like an
internet cafe or something?
Yeah, exactly. He's like, yeah, it's all in like Chinatown, so there's like a bunch of stores, whatever. I'm like, yeah, for sure, let's fucking do that. I like pick him up, I think, we go, we eat, we're like I pick him up. Like, I pick him up.
Oh, no.
He doesn't have a car. Oh, no. Actually, I don't know if I picked him up. I don't remember picking him up.
Oh, this goes back to...
I had this conversation last night.
I didn't pick him up. I met him there, but I don't know how he got there.
If you would have picked him up, that would have been wild.
Did
you drop him off?
Yes. That's why I was like, I must have picked him up because I dropped him off, but I don't remember. No, I met him there. He was already there.
Got it.
I meet him there. We're hanging out. It's fine. We're talking about like dumb shit. It's also not like, yeah, I grew up here and like just like school and class and like all that shit, whatever. And then we go to... It's just
you two?
It's just the two of us.
God damn. Okay.
Anyway. We go to the fucking, internet cafe. I'm like, yeah, this is cool. Anyway, let's fucking go. We're not,
let's go get a
whatever.
Drink.
He lives at the dorms. Like, his dorms are like a block like from my apartment, which is also on campus. We go back to my apartment and we're like talking about Love Island. We're like, let's watch Love Island. Like, you have to fucking watch it. Like, it's so fucking good.
So now he's in your apartment.
Yes.
Okay.
Here's what I will say. I am under the impression, because I've always had guy friends. Like, I've always just like, and like actual guy friends. Like, you're one of my best friends. You know what I mean?
100%.
And like, that's all it is. Like, we've always just been friends. Mm-hmm. So I'm always under the impression that I can be just friends with guys the same way that I can be just friends with girls.
Yes.
So I treat those relationships the same way. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm like, yeah, this is my guy friend, I don't really treat them differently than my girlfriends. So I'm like, yeah, let's fucking, whatever. And then I'm like, I would offer you something to drink, but we just have water and like an open can of Four Loko. That's it. He's like, do you have, very much college apartment.
Oh my God.
He's like, that's all I offer him. I offer him water and an open can of Four Loko. Like, we don't have, I think
you offered him the Four Loko?
Well, as a joke. You know?
Okay.
I wasn't really hey, do you want this?
It was just emphasizing the fact that you don't have anything.
I don't really have anything. He's like, do you have beer? And I was like, no, but it's for girls. Like, you know what I mean? No, we don't have beer. I was like, we have wine. It's like this like cheap wine that, like Brenda had just bought or whatever. Like, it was some random wine. And he was like, can I have that? And I was like, sure, if you want. I'm not drinking, by the way.
Right.
I'm not drinking. I don't offer him wine. I just, he asked what we had. I was like, oh, I guess we have wine. He says, can I have some? I said, yeah, sure, you can, whatever. I don't care. Mm-hmm. So we sit down, we watch Love Island. All of a sudden, this man has drinking an entire bottle of wine. He drank. So there was like half of a bottle of wine. I think it was half of it. A little bit was left, and then he opened the next one and like drank half of that.
Oh my God!
So this is like,
that's worse than the eating off the plate.
Yeah.
I would say something about that.
Wine?
You just gonna open my wine, man?
I would say something about that, whether you're a friend, whether you're trying to date me.
He gets up and he's like, "Can I have another glass?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, go for it." 2 glasses, and like glasses of wine are not that much. Like, it's fine. I didn't realize this man was pouring like half of the fucking bottle into the glass. So he is all of a sudden drunk. Like,
wine drunk at that. Wine drunk.
At my apartment. And it's like getting kind of late. Like, at that point, it wasn't late, It was like 9:30, 10.
Yeah.
And then my roommates start getting home and like, we're all, like kikiing. Like, it's fun. It's fine. We talk about the restaurant and whatever, and Brenda's telling us about like, I think she had just gotten home from like rehearsal, and we're talking about that, and it's so fun and whatever. And it starts, like Brenda then goes
Clock
into our room, and I'm like, okay, cool. My roommates are home. I want to hang out with them. It's time for you to go, but I have to drive you. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm probably gonna go to bed soon. So like we have, I don't know if we had class the next day, but right. I just had something to do. So I was like, I want to go to bed early. Like, I can drive you home. Just give me a minute. I go into like my room, and I'm like, Brenda, he just drank so much wine. He just drank so much wine. And Brenda is like, I know. I just saw my bottle. It's gone. The fuck? She's like, he's drunk. I was like, I know. I don't know how that happened. Whatever. I come back out. He is plastered on the couch. And I am like, all right, let's go. And he is like, he's kind of like joking. And I'm like, no, like seriously, like I really want to go to bed. Like it's getting kind of late and like I just need my sleep. You know what I mean? Like I am not good. And like I am the kind of person that needs like 8 hours of sleep, like whatever.
The whole
Eventually, night. Like after like a good 5 to 10 minutes, this man like gets up and we're walking.
Finish. I'm dying in suspense here. I can't believe I don't know this story.
I'm so annoyed by what I'm about to say, but it's fine. We go downstairs. So I live on like the second floor. We go downstairs. My car is right there. And this is important information. This is a podcast, right? Y'all can't see me and I'm sitting down. I am about 5'10".
Yeah.
Tall. I'm tall. He is about 5'5", 5'6", on a 5'5".
5'5",
maybe
5'5" when the sun is shining. 5'6" in the morning.
5'5", no. 5'5" on a good day. I'm not good with my heights, but you know, he was maybe up to my shoulder. We go downstairs and I'm walking up to my car and he's standing on the curb, and I'm like, I'm starting to get annoyed because I'm like, you need to fucking leave. Like, you need to go. I'm offering to drive you home because you're drunk. Don't push it.
Right.
He stands on the curb, opens his arms, and it's like,
give me a hug.
Give me a hug.
Oh my God, no.
And I'm like, are you kidding?
On the step stool.
I'm like, he's standing on the curb so that he's tall enough to hug me. I am like, are you joking, dude? Like, please. And he's like, come on. And I'm like, no, like, I want to fucking go. Like, I'm not fucking hugging you. And eventually he won't fucking let, like, up. So I'm like, God. Sure. I give him a weird side hug. I'm like, cool. I'm about to kill myself. Like, this, what's happening? Mm-hmm. Just please. He gets in the car and I'm like, this is about to be the most awkward 5-minute ride of my entire fucking life. Right. He lives so close, but I am like, this is the worst. Please, I want to die so bad. He's talking the entire time.
Right. He's wine drunk.
He's so drunk. We get to his dorm. I can't stress this enough. We get to his dorm. I am pulling up to the driveway and this man is still talking. And this man continued to talk for an hour and a half in my car.
You stayed in the car?
What?
I told him multiple times. I'm like, yeah, it's getting kind of late. Like, if you want to get out. He wouldn't get out.
Oh my
and
God.
Eventually, I had to yell at him. I am like, dude, like, please get out of my car. Like, I want to fucking go. I am so tired. It is 2 a.m. I'm texting Brenda. I'm like, Brenda, he won't get out of my car. I don't know what to fucking do. Like, he won't fucking leave. He won't listen. I am desperate now. I'm losing my mind. It's 2 a.m. I am exhausted.
And he's wine drunk.
And he won't get out of my car. I'm literally like, get out. Like, I'm not fucking kidding anymore. Like, get out. And he gets out. And then we never talked again.
But how did you know that he thought that was a date?
Because he's hugging me and like then making like all these weird moves. Like, oh, on the couch. I forgot this part. On the couch, like at some point he like pats the couch and I'm like, don't fucking pat the couch for me to sit
like
down.
I'm a cat.
What are you doing?
I'm
a cat. Come here.
Because I'm not in like, oh, like this is a date. Like I am reacting to him with absolutely no, like he does that and I'm like, why are you fucking patting the couch? Don't fucking do that. I'll sit down if I fucking want to. What the fuck? What? He tries to hug me. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? Like, what is this? Like, I know that you're wine drunk, but I'm fucking tired. And you are 5'5". I can't hug you. Like, I can't. It's you end up at a really uncomfortable, level. I don't want to do that. Like, I am not being nice about any of these things because I don't need to be. So
because you're there as friends.
Because I'm there as friends
in your mind.
And when you're trying to create a boundary and say like, no, like I don't want to hug you or whatever, like then he's trying to like push back against that, which is a big like,
you're
no,
standing
fuck
on
you.
the curb so you can hug me. Like what part of you is saying, yeah, this is going out great?
Well, he was wine drunk.
I don't give a
He
fuck.
wasn't like
You got wine drunk at my plate. You drank an entire
You also
bottle
chose,
and a
by
half.
yourself. We're not
By
drinking
yourself.
together. You're
he was on
drinking
some-
alone.
He was on his like Sex in the City, I'm alone shit.
It
with
was
somebody
insane.
else's wine bottle.
It was the most insane. Like, I was like, that didn't happen. It is 2:30 in the morning when I get home. I was like, I thought I was just gonna go get sushi and like.
For a minute, you telling the story, for a minute, I was gonna be like, well, there might have been some like ambiguity there with him thinking that it might actually be more than just friendship.
I know.
But by the end of the story, you're absolutely right.
I know. Well, I was
you're
telling
absolutely
Brenda,
right.
I was like, dude, he was drinking wine. Like, you invited him over and then you gave him wine. I was like, no. You're making it look like, I was like, you want to come over? Like, we can, no.
And you got him drunk so you can have your way with him?
What? Like, what? Where else were we going to go? Number one, we don't have anything to do. He's on a skateboard. Like, I don't, you know what I mean?
On the curb.
I am like, I'm not driving us around Houston. Like, I'm not fucking doing that. You know what I mean? So what do? We go back on campus. And like, he's at a dorm. I live in an apartment. So I'm like, yeah, let's go to my fucking place. Let's watch Love Island. What part of that gives you any impression? I didn't offer him wine. He basically stole it. Like, he stole our wine and drank it all.
I have never been in that kind of situation. I take my statement back.
Well, I've never been in a romper situation, so I guess we're even.
we're gonna stop there. Because there's no reason for me to go into my romper situation.
Yet.
One day.
Soon.
But I've never been stuck with anyone at all in that kind of way.
Like,
and I hope to God that nobody's ever been stuck with me in that kind of way that
sometimes I wonder if he like thinks about it.
He thinks about it.
You know?
He thinks about
it. Does he even remember it? Is the question.
That's what I mean.
Does he remember it enough to be able to think about it?
But he probably thinks about it in a way where like, bro, like, she was so confusing. She invited me to her place.
That's what I mean. Like, I'm like, I wonder if he's like, I thought it was going so well, and then she started yelling at me. You know what I mean?
That's probably what he thinks. That's
probably
exactly what he thinks.
I thought we were having a good time. She like, and then like, I don't know, but she wasn't like really answering to any of my moves, and then she like kicked me out of her car.
That's such a, I'm sorry for this statement specifically, but that little sentence that like everything was going so well and then she started yelling at me is such a husband thing to say. You know what I mean?
Don't say that.
I'm just saying, like, obviously it's not there, but it's such a husband, like whenever people like, I don't know, that thing was fine, and then she just started
but I feel like guys
yelling.
are like that often. They're like, no, everything was going great. It's like, no, everything was going great on your side just because you like her. And
or just because you were around a pretty girl.
Because you're blind to
who told you it was going well for her?
Damn. And because you're wine drunk on 1.5 bottles of wine
traumatic.
of not your own wine.
Like, I have never, like, again, like, I'm very, like, non-confrontational, and I'm very patient, too. I mean, I let this man sit on my car for a fucking hour and a half.
That's for ridiculous.
Talk about be nice.
I would have got out of the car.
How did the road rage not kick in at that point?
You're behind the wheel.
I was parked.
Does it being in park negate everything?
Yes. I was parked. So
this is what I would have got out the car, and I would have walked around to his side and, like, opened the door for him.
I almost did, bro.
Chivalry is not
like,
dead.
all right, you want a hug? Here you go. And then, like, give him a side hug, close the door real quick.
No,
run back around to your side.
Part of me was like, I don't want to hug you again. I'm not getting out of this car. This car is safe.
God.
That's fair. But is it, though, with him in it?
Well, he was wine drunk, and he's 5'5". So he was probably like,
dude.
He was probably on his car seat trying to figure out what to do.
Short men a complex. There's a lot of tall women that like short men. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but if you have to stand on the curb to hug me, like, you can't.
Look, if I like you and you're shorter than me, like, I mean, it's not a big deal. There is a certain height that I'm like past that point. Like, if you're too short, then that's one thing. But like, I feel like it's the same thing. Then if a guy is tall and a girl short, like, they're gonna let you know. They're gonna come to you if they want that hug, if they want that kiss. Like, they're gonna come and like, bridge that distance between the two of you to let you know.
What did you think was gonna happen?
To be fair, me being wine drunk nothing really good comes of it either. So I don't know what
I just get emotional.
I think being wine drunk is so fun.
But it depends.
I mean, I like
so
it.
if I'm with friends, like I'll just get whatever emotion it is that I'm feeling, I'm just gonna feel it very strongly. So if I'm with friends, then I'll get like real happy, real fun, whatever. If I'm by myself, I'm gonna get like real sad, real quick.
That's sad.
I get on wine. I get pretty. I mean, I guess like the emotions are a little stronger, but I also get like really like homebody.
Yeah.
I get real like homebody. Like I get real like, man, I need to like cozy up.
Yes.
I'm trying to watch like, you know what I mean?
I was gonna say,
P.S.
that's
I love
usually
you.
when I am wine drunk. Like I'm usually wine drunk at home. I wouldn't
Right.
get wine drunk outside.
Well, we've gone over here with our friends at How to Survive, and we've gotten wine drunk there, and it's been like it's been a
Going
good time.
to a wine bar is also just different. Like the atmosphere is different, you know.
Yeah,
It's
that is
nice.
true.
Shout out to How to Survive.
Love
Shout out
them.
to How to
Love
Survive.
them.
I shot my music video there. Fucking love them.
They are great.
But wine drunk at 5'5". What a way to end this.
I hope he's doing well.
Me
He has
too.
a car now.
Me too.
I hope he learned how to
I hope-
respect people's boundaries.
Yeah, I hope he's
and
wearing,
take a hint.
I hope he's wearing some Chelsea boots to give him half an inch. You know what I mean?
He's not. He was a skater boy.
No, I hope he accepted his height and appreciates it. You know,
Yeah.
If
if he loves
be confident.
taller
Just-
women, I hope
Just don't ever stand on the curb trying to hug anybody ever again, even if you
Don't-
are short.
Yeah.
If-
Also, don't tap people to sit down.
Oh yeah,
Don't
That's
tap.
weird. That
I'm
could
not
be a pet peeve.
I'm not a fucking cat.
That could be a
Don't.
pet peeve of like, come here.
No.
Yeah, that's
Don't
not
do
happening.
that.
Again, I guess it's also different because like if you were to do it to me, it wouldn't be. I'd be like, okay,
But I would
like,
do
you
it
know.
like maybe like gesture, like you know in that episode of Friends whenever like Chandler's on the bed
Yes.
and he turns the door and he like goes like this and he goes, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I would do that.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
again,
yeah.
it's
It's-
different
but it's also
I would
different. Like
never be like-
if there's a certain level of comfortability, like they
Yeah.
can do it and they know how to do it.
because we also
and
joke around
it's
with each
cute.
other and whatnot. Yeah, like even if this is like a first date and you're actually trying to have a date, then like yeah, don't fucking do that.
Yo,
shit to
imagine
me.
if that happened on the first date.
Oof.
Well, apparently
Apparently he
did.
thought it was. Yeah.
You're right.
Apparently he fucking did. So
Damn, between the tapping and the picking off the plate, like, oof, it's game over. They should meet each other.
maybe.
So he could be like, and she could be like, oh yeah, my you know what I mean? Oh,
would
thank
probably
you.
love it.
This is the perfect spot for me to reach over and get some
Yeah.
food.
You would probably love it.
Anyway,